Welcome, everybody, to the 6th instalment of the Sad Poets Doorstep Club. We are back in the second lockdown to bring you another dose of really, really good mental health poetry. We've got a massively, just really legendary lineup for you tonight. We've got Beth Hartley, we've got Jon Kinsman, and we've got Vellis headlining with a lot of really great supports dotted throughout. As always, this event is subject to a lot of mature themes. So this is a general content warning now for, basically all the hard-hitting stuff, mental health, potential suicide mentions, all of that wonderful, wonderful stuff. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. I'm going to start with the poem, and then we're going to shoot straight off to the first support. This is rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. I dance on a night out with a shit-eating grin bigger than a Zeppelin. I meet friends in town and talk till the hours grow small. I explore worlds in D&D and bring stories to life in my living room. I am going in circles. Like arranging deck chairs on the Titanic, like closing a door on a hurricane, like apologizing to the person that hurt you. Nothing I do seems to matter. Everything just makes me worse. I'm looking for an exit in a glass house with nothing in my hands but paper scissors. I'm listening to my fingers drum patterns like sleet on a tin roof. I'm laboring against an innate desire to sabotage everything I've ever built, because none of it feels real anyway. I'm trying to claw back any sense of belonging, but my suitcases are stapled to the floor. I try to plant my flag, but I can't pierce the earth, straining to make any mark on life before I'm erased. Before I erase myself. Thank you. All right, first up, we've got Tyjana Howard. Tyjana is a Unislam team member from Bath Spa, usually covering topics between mental health and love for her girlfriend. They are very passionate about destigmatizing all disability through poetry. Please welcome Tyjana Howard.
Hiya, I'm first, really daunting. I've got two poems. I did the second one a bit happier. The first one is about an OCD condition called trichotillomania, and I hope you like it. Named after birds in youth, I was bald eagle. I became a label of all things deemed wrong with me, and what my bandana hid became a point of contention. When the teachers had a class discussion on why I must wear it, the lie I told gained pity and names and pulling. My hair had dealt with enough of that. They sought the truth of my scalp, feeling the bright fabrics as a personal insult. They stared at my shield with ready hands and wry smiles. And it made it worse. The pain of my scalp burned through the material, pulling hairs through gaps in the thread. This bandana didn't only protect my hairs from prying eyes. These bandanas couldn't protect me from myself. I have trichotillomania. Trick, Latin from hair, usually written on the conditioners I'm hesitant to use, making my hair so soft and touchable, letting me gently thread my fingers through my hair and pain. This tiger balm brain thinks burning is the same as healing. Every gust of air hit my scalp like freshly brushed teeth, getting kissed on my crown and watching them frown when they realize how much of me is missing. Birds use loose hair to feel warm in their nests. I like that something can find safety in my loss, but sometimes birds get desperate and their claws scrape and beaks pluck and my hands shake as I pull another follicle from its place. And I'm scared that these birds won't realize how hard it is to fly without feathers. And with self-clipped wings, all they have left to do is attack and steal their safety from my scalp. But I've never tried scaring them away as they entangle themselves in my curls, making it pull tighter each time they flap their trap with me in this circle of OCD impulsiveness. I become the claws of ravens that grasp and tug at every strand of hair, becoming the kind of birds that don't represent freedom, and sometimes I'd like to think it was birds and not my hands. Pecking, tearing, teasing, freeing the follicles from my mess of a head. The doctors say I've made a mistake, and that no matter how much castor oil I massage through my scalp, these follicles have been slighted one too many times. And they've made the decision that this ground is too harsh an environment to grow roots. I cannot mourn this loss as it's I who tore them at my head. Thinking it would extinguish these phantom pains, my head is a graveyard of impulsive mistakes, where a messy bun is a cry for help. On my bed is a patchwork pillow, sewn from all my old bandanas, sewn from all my threaded shields. A gift from Mum, a stern reminder not to become my own ruin. Hope you like that one. And then I've got another one about body positivity, so a bit happier. Lightning doesn't strike twice, or so they say. To prove them wrong, I tell them to look upon my skin and see the static strokes that have stained my body with the most beautiful dusky pink. Tell them that this spot on my thigh is where the gods of the sky, Odin, Zeus, Baal, and Jupiter, leave their symbol of power. Gaze upon my thighs in awe, watcher, for this is where the gods deem worthy. This is where I deem worthy. Aphrodite is the most beautiful woman. Her statue has the kind of figure that reminds me an hourglass isn't the only body shape that looks like it could be loved. The kind of figure that tells my beautiful body rolls like waves and caves into my hips to make curves, expanding like the sea foam that birthed beauty. That's me, strung from Cornish waves, born with a taste of salt and iron in my bones, heavy set, heavy heart, metal of a Cornish maiden and body of a Grecian goddess. This is beauty, the love in which one can hold for themselves. In my palm, I grasp my excess thigh and roll my love into balls, roll my rolls to become something worth loving, shaping my clay form like building a new human. I hold the handles built for hands like mine. I've built a body to love. I have scars on my knees from climbing and less hair from stressing. I'm more soft from living, stretch marks from growing, creases from smiling, and bags of my fatigue from worrying about how I look. Worrying if someone else can see the beauty in my love, in my body, in a body carved into the cliffs by the sea, shaped oddly over thousands of years, something beautiful to look at, something that could be called a view, and something that deserves to be loved too. These stretch marks tell stories, shows the distance from my youth to my final suit of skin. They tell of a full stomach and healed injuries, of rubbed summer thighs and growing pains. Now, I tattoo memories on my arms, and my body imprints these memories on my thighs. I am truly blessed by the gods, and there is nothing wrong with my size. Thank you.
Woo! Everyone meet yourselves and give a round of applause to Tyjana Howard.
Yay!
That was great.
Amazing.
That was phenomenal. Absolutely well done.
Thank you so much.
Right, everyone mute again, please. Next up, we have MCMC Spoken, aka Megan Chapman, is a Cornwall-based poet and rap artist. She challenges boundaries, hoping to pull you in and question our world. Please add her socials, rhyming snowballs. Please give it up for MCMC Spoken.
Hello. All right. Right, cool. I don't often feel I can read off the page, but weirdly enough, there's something about doing it online that makes it easier to do it. So this is a very new piece, well, a new to perform piece, and it's called Under the Car Tires. Eyes open wide to screams, rolls over awakening instantly, but he lets his body be free for a minute. Soon someone circles, his feelings thaw, coming back to the reality he dissolves. Cold in a ball he learnt to survive in, long before he lost his driving. Life now, wife, 2 kids, statistically he did better than he was dished. He worked hard to live his dealt cards behind. Emotional history never revisited, doesn't give himself time. Dissatisfied, he tries to take back an hour from each of his time. On his hands and knees under his wheels on finance, this time his to connect with, the reliable passion that will not reject him. He's safe, he's escaped the world, this world he creates. He likes his life, but he'll never feel he made it. I know that's subjective, but the dissatisfaction eats him. He's trapped himself inside his children. A passion with a wife which he never had when pregnancy kicked in, he already felt trapped in. Knowing he would never walk away from his children, a world which he couldn't explore or ignore. Avoid dark hole he can't avoid, his past made him see his dark thoughts he can't abort. Spin the wheel, let's take it back backed up, small fear frozen to the wall. His love he kept giving, trapped and no one was listening. Given all he could to those cold long woods, he stood there knowing no one would come to his rescue, had learnt to pick his battles. He picked what he couldn't, and he was far from powerful. Reliably amicable, he's never done well if rescued by social care. But sometimes the really lost can't be found out there. And that therapy chair is a world away. At crisis point, you have to show them another way. Heading for an early grave, some really need to be saved. Normalized behavior stretched far, far away like the planets. It learned to survive this difference with bandits. A safe space wasn't on the cards for this little one, so from an early age he stayed on the run. Staged by a society which doesn't want to heal what's real, defeated, putting plasters over plasters, ignoring them peel. Then we're able to say we tried, at times we do our bit, but for him it was always lies. He's just learned how to shut down, give in. Our society didn't protect him. The ones with the power disempower in the tower. Policies, procedures, routes, the failure. A life for him was missing, lost in the model of multi-agency turned inside umbrellas. Watch a language already labelled a little hella. Worlds apart, a bus ride is something that most privileged have rarely endured. The people is something that the elite ignore, turn away rather than record. They charities tapping in with big ribbon fairy tales, but it's always like that. The systems in all parts have failed. Glorified by royals' faces and deprived communities, Tyjana tried to break down barriers. The reality of inequality can be awful, all cloaks and daggers. We socials front line and hard line stones, flesh and blood. Reminded why we do it with the same flesh and blood. The drones fly higher. Richness catches fire. The world spins. Politics reminds us of the real crooks and liars. Look higher. What can we actually do? I mean, capitalism arrives as we say commune. They derive us. We have put that. We're on the same game. Yeah, so that's one that I've never read, but I wasn't, to be honest with you, feeling that one that much. But that's the first one that I'm going to do tonight. So there we are. The second one, hopefully I'll get a bit more into, but that was a brand new one I never read out loud before. So this next one is about getting older. I didn't know how I'd feel getting older. Now I know like a half-peeled orange. When talking to a 23-year-old feels foreign. When history interests me, inquisitive in our sovereign. Maybe it's a protective factor for me. If history interests me, surely I won't be forgotten. A legacy well trodden. Self-indulgency in big portions a problem. Outside myself, I join bits of myself on the Asda conveyor belt. Help. How can life be this obvious? Still we're killing ourselves. I deeply inhale, humans' greed has always been our fail. My lazy me means that I visage the boat as set sail. Whilst I'm on this planet, I intend to dance around it. Remind all those that I reach to tread lightly, leave it how they found it. Whilst knowing that's not enough, in truth I bluff, I never give enough. I hear the carbon footprints for flying, vegan values. A overpopulated planet, wealth for an elite few. Political madness, border control, pure sadness. It's 2019, we're normally going backwards. When I fondly talk about my time, it reminds me I'm heading up that age line. Age is a privilege, still it's complicated and weighted, seeing with no meaning, unanswered. Stories are powerful and a message is shared. So much news, fake truths, it's all over our face. Everyone is reachable, only a scroll away, which doesn't make it meaningful. Connection change within my decades. Politics is the new religion, so in most I turn away. Society's puppetry wrapped around my shoulder, trying to peel it off, but it sticks and I'm no longer soft-skinned, itching to see the world. I'm slightly soft and slightly going off, adjusting to milestones, bought a home. The child factor's a private contractor, a personal journey, yet so fucking public facing. Like the British Bake Off, vague lightness, watching mine go off. Settling, nesting and reinventing. Myself age 12, former path resailed, creating, making sense of self-stealth. I've got this. Contradicts and bad for my health. Choiceless, no longer voiceless, while giving the best of me away. In a pressure cooker, 9 to 5, best hours, bleak and grey, self-reminder, thankful I enjoy my working day. Still waving myself away. Slightly rusting, adjusting, insecure to my core for an onlooker. Ready to implode whilst realigning life's load. Slowly leaving my 30s, middle life awakening. Home truths, seeing my parents' worst traits in me. As partners, I get reminded, so does she. I define myself, curl and sink my toes into the floor. Honestly, all life's monopolies, society's puppetries on top of me, dragging myself under as my clock sticks bolder. When I was younger, I wore my dad's shoulders. Slowly getting older, I learnt the journey walking for longer. Now I long for the weight to pick up onto my shoulders. Whilst in the same breath, I feel blessed, weightless. Knowing your answers won't get answered by an adult, you'll be waiting for me to set you free. Freedom comes at the cost of everything. So to be young with the freedom to dream, I will help with all that I am and honor what I've seen. You'll be ready to fly, looking up at the sky, asking why. I with clip wings, fitting society's systems reply. You try and enjoy this time and move aside from boredom, because you will lose it all for your cost of freedom. I see the pain pinned up on your face. I see the difference that you make. I see you listen and you wait. I see what someone already takes. See the snake wrapped round your neck. See the tape draped round the deck. See the dead body you won't forget. See those eyes you've never met. See your lost soul you project. See your tossed body you forget. See a version of your person. See your deserving tried still learning. See the unearthing and talking. See the disturbing paths you're walking. See your story through your lens. See your gory, see your trends. See your confidential, see potential. See your benchmark and strong heart. See you embark on dark paths. See your path was never lit. See a candle born with no wick. See the covered mothered in pain. See the uncovered wearing their parents' shame. See you spinning where the veins. See you sinning as you claim. See you're caught up in a web. See your self-taught head. See your dread and your fears. See your tears as I hear. See your life. See your day. See your kite. Please fly today.
Please give it up for MCMC Spoken.
Thank you.
Bloody brilliant, Megan. Bloody brilliant, as always. Pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Next up, coming from South Shields, Russ is on the autism spectrum, which gives him a unique view of the world. His poetry is filled with humour and anecdotes. He has headlined Bubblegum, Stanza, Poetry Jam, and the Newcastle Literary Salon, where we met. And he runs a writing group called A Line a Day on Facebook. Please give it up for Russ Punton.
Hi, I hope you're all well. I've got a couple of short ones to read tonight, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, the first one I'm going to read isn't about mental health. It's about well, you'll see what it's about. It's about a lot of idiots all in town at the moment. It's called Mantra of a Delusional. It was written earlier this year. Why do we have to stay in? It's not going to touch us, this virus. Radical action needed. Don't make me laugh. The virus doesn't touch people like us. What a load of fuss. We're perfectly safe. We live in a nice place. It won't reach us here. Don't worry, my dear. Okay, this next one is it's about I have Asperger's syndrome. I've rewritten this a few times over the years. It's called Diary of an Autistic Teenager. It's about how it can feel not to be on the same wavelength as other people. See me, turn away. I am different in what I do and say. I can only be me. I'm told that's okay. Often, life does not feel that way. Whilst others interact with ease, to me it's all unclear, a language I've yet to learn. Slightly out of step and far behind, always must I try to be like you. I can't talk like you, think like you. My brain is wired differently. Don't you see? I can only be me. That should be enough. So show a bit of care. Don't pretend I'm not there. By the way, sorry for the terrible pace in there. I really do need to retype this one up. Do I have time for one last short one? Oh, that's my...
You've got time for loads, mate. You've got 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you. This is technically a little irrelevant now, but this is my last chance to read this before December. It's called Go Away Christmas. Late September, out for lunch. A sign brightly adorned asks, would you like to book for Christmas Day? I say, no. Walking down the street, shoppers bustle with Christmas cheer, stores filled with Christmas decorations and goods. This would all be such a marvellous sight. If only Christmas was here. It's only November. I sit down to watch a film at home. I flick to the movie channels to see what is being shown. Ah, what joy. Christmas movies on all day. Late I pass a choir singing, joy to the world. Lovely, nicest people I've ever met. Just one small thing I'd like to say. It's not Christmas yet. It's only November. Alas, Saint Nick is not on his way. My true love has not yet given me a partridge or a pear tree. And there's definitely room at the inn. So go away, Christmas, and come back in December. But don't feel bad. I love you dearly. The best things come to those who wait. To see you soon in December. Don't worry, I'll remember. Okay, since I've got more time left than I thought, this poem was actually inspired by my cousin Elaine Cusack, who's quite a well-known poet. She taught me to always give credit to people. So I'm giving her credit because I used the first line of this from one of her poems. After she showed it to me. I could write a poem about you. Oh, the things I could say. Come listen here. Come closer. No, you never listen. You talk, talk, talk. And of course, you're always right. I am sick of doing this your way. Don't get me wrong. You're my friend at the end of the day. But you never listen, except to yourself. I could write a poem about you, but I won't. Now, I took a big risk reading that one because I wrote that literally years ago at a writer's workshop, and I was tidying up the other day. And it literally hasn't been developed at all. It's just scribbled down a bit of paper, but I thought, why not? I've never read it before, and I've got time left. Thank you all for putting up with me tonight. A pleasure reading here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Round of applause for Ross, please.
Woo! Yes!
Oh, and sorry as well that only one fit for your mental health.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's
most
fine.
of my poems on my laptop are just currently being repaired, so I had to make do what I had to hand tonight.
Don't worry about it. You were fantastic as always.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thanks for putting this on again. Missed these events.
All right. That's okay. All right, next up we have the super cool Myriam San Marco.
He said, tell me your story. Went like this. Once upon a time, in the dark lands, a curious child was born. It was a day of all rain, and the mother was alone in the kitchen when she felt the child coming. The father was out drinking, and this was not unusual. All men drunk from daybreak till nightfall in the dark lands. The mother stood in the broken waters, thinking of the chores yet to be done. And now this. She'd been at many births in the village, saying push and brave, and more often than not, had been the one digging a small grave in the woods. Babies took one look at the sky, never screamed, closed their eyes, never to open them again. The mother was ready for one more death, one more little grave, and this was not unusual in the dark lands. Men drunk and women dug graves. Breathe, push, breathe, push, push for hours. The walls vibrated with her scream and the baby did not come. The mother squatted by the fireplace, her back damp and trembling against the wall. Push, damn you, push! Night came sudden in the dark lands like the spring tide. Blink once and you're standing in water up to your thighs. A liquid night, full of quiet noises, and in the distance the men sing their slow songs. Push, breathe, push, 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 and all at once head, shoulders, and babies were in her arms. The child did not scream, looked at her and fell asleep. She fell asleep too, slumped in her placenta, blood and water, her right cheek warmed by the fire. Some had come early in the dark lands. The child was 3, and they had not been given a name yet. Giving a name was when you were sure the child was going to live, and people in this corner of the dark lands waited until the child's 5th birthday. The child answered to child and you with a silent nod. The child did not speak or sing or make noises of any kind, and this was not unusual. Children were ignored until the naming ceremony, and many were found dead, not having spoken one word. The child sat at the edge of the woods, a butterfly in their hand, smiling as they crushed it to nothing. No one saw, and if they had, they would have whispered, "Death comes easy." And then he said, "So, how are things? Things. I don't even know what things are. Things are beyond fucked. Things are 100 baby turtles running to the sea. Things live under the bed." Waiting for that time where it's no longer quiet and the air is so still. I want to punch glass. I hear the sound in my head. It's beautiful, like a slow motion car crash. There is my street, and there are familiar houses. And my boots make a walking sound. And it's real, I think. But you don't see with your eyes because things lie to you all the time. Things sit on the edge of your bed. And they say, "Look." Or is it listen? They say, "You can talk to a friend because things are helpful and friends are helpful and eating food is helpful." I do none of these things. I don't listen to things that say sensible things. They're not real. Not the things, not the friends. I hear the things whispering amongst themselves. They take notes with a Tell me more. I don't speak to those things. I go back to the time where not talking to things was easy. Time peels a banana like a hungry monkey, and Look, there's me in the shop buying rum or brandy or beer. And one drink is one drink. And one drink is not all the drink. And one drink buys some weed, and I fucking hate weed. And one drink goes partying, and one drink scores some pills that could be anything but fuck it. And swallows. And one drink flirts with anything that moves. And one drink kisses and moans and stops thinking. And one drink stops hurting. And one drink can't hear the things whispering amongst themselves and feels nothing. It's wonderful. I finish eating the banana and open the fridge, check that the can I left in there 3 years ago is unopened and the wine bottle still has its cork on. And they do. And the things go on. And the things say, look. Or is it listen? And I don't listen. And I don't speak.
Round of applause for Myriam, please.
Holy shit.
Amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Woo!
Wow.
Woo! Oh, that was haunting and wonderful, Myriam. Thank you so much for doing that.
It's all right. It's my new shit.
Blimey.
It's time for our first headliner. Beth Hartley lives in Ely, Cambridgeshire, and has played with words most of her life. Mama, poet, preacher, usually under a pile of laundry and manuscript submissions. Please give a big, warm welcome to Beth Hartley!
Be good. Hi. The word is made flesh. I know, because I stand among it. It lives all around me, breathing, writing, making me remove my shoes. For all around are stanza, littering, glittering, painting on the walls of all I see. The word is made flesh by the sounds on my breath, transferred to your ears, a spoken place of grace, a paper space. Nothing is stronger than this, for this page is holy ground. The word is made flesh. These words are my flesh. Thank you, Tom, for inviting me tonight. That was called Living Word, and this next piece is called Salt Cure. This is a relatively new poem. There are three kinds of drowning. One where you sink to the end, one where it follows you for the rest of living, and one where you walk free. This is not drowning. This will not be drowning. This is where I am now. As waters appear to rise, the waves are touching different places, spreading the chill from soul to scalp. The will to move fights the morning ice. This is not drowning. This will not be drowning. My breath, ragged, dried by salt, that is not curing me, but sending me searching. My muscles seeking reflexes long since landlocked. I can only reach back as far as jumping from the side in, but I am not in class. This is survival. Must move my limbs, slippery body unguarded. Every day a new current seems to need a new direction. This is not drowning. This will not be drowning. My brain is counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As my mouth spits into the tide, I am resisting the wave, trying not to gasp for breath, retaining my focus, difficult for every day, essential for not drowning, for every kind of drowning. This will not be drowning. I will train this flesh to strength, but this simply is a workout for a job I never sought. The gates don't keep the ocean out, there is only surviving. For this will not be drowning, this will be living, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obedient, though pained of heart, for this will not be drowning. Some of my poems are gifts. And this one it's a gift for somebody I hope is listening, I think is listening. And it's called Gift. Nobody asks me that. It's late. And my thoughts all fall out like opening a cupboard door in someone else's house. So many routes have disappeared over the years that I still don't know where to go. Holes I fell in, fires I touched that burned so hard some days I still can't feel my skin. Nobody asks me that. My head is string with all the ends underneath, thread upon thread, everything tangled. I can only unravel on paper, just in case someone else sees, and yet now it all tumbles, tongue loosened by lateness and laughter. Nobody asks me that. Most days my worth is the questions I answer, the things I remember, the lists that I make. I am a job well done, a safety, reliable, here. But somehow I have become ballast, scared of escaping, lest all hands be lost, making order from chaos everywhere but here. Nobody asks me that, reminds me that I might yet dream, measures me in the world, in possibility, in the worth of words and wisdom, so that in the night I might collapse into capability and meet myself falling. I'm gonna try and bring you not to it's my nature not just to bring the dark but to bring the light as well. So for all of you that get dressed up for gigs, whether they're online or when we have physical life, whenever that happens again, when you think about who you wear and what you have on, this is for you, and it's called Armour of Love. Here I am in the mirror, facing the day, taking my pick at the wardrobe doorway. These earrings, those shoes, they're the things that I use to gird and defend me from all of the views that I can't do this, must be useless. Any kind of connection is priceless. The jumper that covers the things that I hide, pulling the wool over their eyes and my head, until I am shrouded in somebody's care, at least for a little while, until I can breathe a little easier, look the world in the eye. I have done this forever, covered myself in talisman, the fork in my hair for every day she carried him, a ring I twist until they call, something silver against my skin, pressing the pattern in. When people feel far and I am hurting, I put these on to ease the burden. The thinnest thread, words unspoken, written all over me in metal and cloth. These are my shield. The sword in my hand is the thing that you gave me, keeping you near when all I hear shouting's the voice of my fear. The things that I give are so that you know, when you battle too, there's something to show. When I'm hurt by the world, this is my boxing glove. And I thank my dearest for the armour of love. As the year starts to draw to a close, I am bringing back something actually that I wrote at the end of last year, and I was debating something else, and a friend said to me, don't read that, read this one instead. It's called This Is Not Wonderland. It's a long, slow fall, this. Words slipping through my fingers like smoke. I am watching my own descent, recognizing only the sensation of air on skin, the year chipping at my sides like roots in the soil, nicking and scraping as I pass. Keep my hands busy and I won't hear the clamour of everything that comes after. Keep my ears full and I will carry it all longer than expected, tread the route and carry on. But I will break on a Monday, landing at the bottom in a shower of sparks, quickly dampened by the tears that follow, emptying enough to fill this rabbit hole I knew before. I thought it was outside until I fell in. This is not Wonderland. No one is watching the time here but me. Yeah, I wrote this last year as well because it occurred to me that particularly sitting in poetry events that we are often sharing. I do other things in my life where I stand up in front of people, and this is, and I thought that was naked until I started doing this, and this is more. And so this is called Emergency Contact. You can hold my hand if you like. Sometimes I leave it there in case this minute is too much to bear alone, in case you need to know that something is solid, when everything shakes, in case of emergency, in case you need something to hold on to, maybe in case I do. But I wondered if you knew, so, in case the weight of living is more than one can carry, in case today's grief needs a friend, in case companions are scarce, in case you're waiting for a sign, then this is it. In case of emergency, please break this barrier where touch has become something we don't do, and our skins have been left hungry, a state of sensual deprivation as prevalent as safety notices, but nowhere near as well lit. So, break rank, break the rules, break habit, break the silence. In case of emergency, please break glass. Thank you. You've all been nice to see people. This is my final poem this evening, and I've chosen it because I wrote it for a specific event that is something that I've been going to in lockdown, because somebody else who's reading tonight popped up at the writing group that I go to on a Sunday with Graphic, and invited us to their event. But I hope it will give you a giggle. And it's me as well, trying to suck the joy out of lockdown, because so much has been really not nice at all. So this is called Choose Poetry. Choose poetry. Choose life. Choose Sunday lunchtime on a garrulous train just to walk down long roads filled with tourists so you can reach the place your dark dreams inhabit. Choose a room full, sweaty even in the February chill that you fought through to get to it, full of waiting eyes, faces that became family. Choose evenings in lockdown, washing up and waiting, skidding up the stairs, plugging in, anticipating the shiver of words from wherever you are. Choose poetry. Choose to have your mind blown while you worry about what to read. Choose poetry. Choose fidgeting at your world, making sense of everything in phrases sculpted all week long. Choose poetry. Choose voices so varied you will reel away drunk, your brain slipping on phrasing you wish you'd thought of yourself. The world in your ears and your ear to the world. Choose life. Choose word highs at midnight, driving home at 20 with your brain knocking at your skull. Choose life in lines that worm under your skin, aiming straight for the heart, your bloodstream tingling, not resting till midweek. Choose life. Choose listening and being heard. Choose recognizing and stretching your understanding. Choose receiving and cradling another's pain to hear the weight, to share the weight. Choose laughing at the absurdity of now, of this, of everything shared and imagined. Choose a life that lives in moulded phrases and laid out lines, or raging places and banging rhymes. Choose a life that rocks you gently until the sucker punch has you hanging on to every syllable in its glove. Choose poetry. Choose words cut loose or decorated, flowing free or syncopated. Choose the muse that slips one past you when you thought the day was done. But choose it. Choose to live. Choose poetry.
Massive, massive applause for Beth Hartley, please. What an absolute treat that was. Thank you, Beth. Thank you so much. Right, we're going to have a 10-minute break now. Go for a cig, get a drink, go to the toilet, or stay and chat for 10 minutes. We're going to be here. Just stick around, I guess. 10-minute break. Oh, that was so good.
Myriam, I didn't notice it if it did.
Okay, good. It's just like, I don't know, I've got this headset from work, and for some reason it just keeps on muting itself.
Oh, work headsets.
That's fun.
I mean, it's really good quality, and like the sound's really good.
I've been thinking I need one, actually. I need to find something.
Yeah, I think it's quite good because it allows me to be really quiet. You know, I mean, you could all hear me when I was whispering.
Yeah, I like that. That worked really well. I'm just going to go and put the girlie to bed.
I gotta say, my favorite poem was to Get the Fuck Away Christmas.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. But my neighbours on all sides have all put up Christmas lights already, and it's driving me mad.
I wasn't going to do that one this year because people have had a hard year. When I saw people start to actually decorate trees for Halloween, and I was like, "What the hell is that about?" Did you see that? Like last month, October, not last month. Well, no, sorry, we're still in November. October, I walked by and people were hanging like skeletons, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Oh, I love Halloween decorations. They're a lot better than Christmas.
Well, I took my summer garland and put my wintry witchy garland up. That's about as far as it's gone.
Ah,
it's nice.
I love Halloween, but like, who decorates a tree for Halloween? Like,
I'd decorate everything for Halloween if I had the money.
Ah, okay.
I'm gonna show you guys my Christmas decoration. This is it. Like, can you see?
Fair. Yeah.
That's it. It's just the light and this.
Big fan of fairy lights.
Keep your distance. Yeah. That's my kid's room.
Yeah. I don't hate Christmas. I just think less is more sometimes.
I know. I hate Christmas. I took it as the, yes, another Christmas hate.
People think more and more for Christmas.
Ross, last year I decorated my front porch for Halloween. I put keep out tape up, smeared blood on my front windows, and dropped some plastic severed limbs onto the floor outside the front porch and covered that in blood. And it was a lot of fun.
Sounds cool.
It was a lot of fun.
I really missed actually going trick or treating. I just like we always get makeup and kind of fully kitted out. And even though my kids are like 15 and 13, we still go. And it's not for the treats, it's just for the fun.
I do a zombie dress up every year and scare trick-or-treaters. I once scared a group of teenagers so much they literally ran down the street around the corner. That was a lot of fun.
Is that how you answer the door?
Yeah. Sometimes when I hear them coming, I would go out the back door and go around my house and scare them that way.
No, it's the best way. My youngest does SFX makeup, so you should see them. They're like, we literally, I think it was last year, we walked into this restaurant to get some water, and like there was this woman start screaming, and the baby starts screaming and everything, because like my kid had an eye hanging out, and then
God, that's beautiful.
Kind of a knife sticking out of her arm, and it just looks so realistic. It's great.
Is that the one that has the same name as me?
What do you mean?
Cass?
Oh, Cass, yeah.
Yeah, I got the Cass.
It is Cass, yeah. It's not short for anything, I keep being told. It's short for Castiel.
Tom, because you always ask, look who's here.
Yes! Cat Cam! Oh, the beautiful. Oh, I love.
Mika, you sing hello.
Oh, it's so cute. I love seeing live cats.
Have you seen Rick the Most? His event, he has a cat cam.
Yeah, I've done some of his Your Place events, and yeah, cat cam is fantastic.
Yes.
Also, Myriam, I don't know if you can see it,
over there.
but how do I do this?
Here
1
you go.
second.
There's the other one.
Myriam.
Ah, I can't believe you've got that on.
Yeah.
That is great.
It's permanent.
I want that tattoo.
It was my first ever tattoo, that one.
At least you're
First
safe.
one.
Oh, my cats are all
I'm like
outside.
rewatching the last season at the moment. It's so sad.
I need to rewatch the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I'm just waiting to finish like the last few episodes and just go back to the beginning.
No spoilers, I've not watched that far. I think I've seen season 12 and then that's it.
What are you watching, sorry? Anything good?
Supernatural.
It's...
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, it's...
I was meant to get into that. Is it on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I think so. It's both good and quite problematic in equal measure, but it's worth watching.
I've only seen a few episodes of it, but look, it seems funny enough.
It is quite funny, and they're very ingenious in like what they do. You know, like some episodes, like there's like black and white episodes and cartoon ones, and
the one where they go in
Scooby-Doo.
The one where they go in the universe where they are they're actors.
Oh yeah, that's
and it's the whole fucking set. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, oh like that Twilight Zone episode. A few people have parodied that.
Yeah,
Indiana did an episode like that as well.
Yeah. All right, is everyone back?
I don't know.
Quick check-in for people.
I'll be back in 1 minute.
Am I still on in the third, mate?
You are, yes.
Hey, good stuff.
I'm really glad now because I can properly pay attention to people. My children have stopped bothering me, and I'm no longer anxious. It's going to be really nice, and I want to be wherever Oz's background is. That's where I want to go. Where's your background from, Oz? It looks great.
It's actually a picture taken out of a friend's car on the outskirts of Leeds. Leeds is fairyland.
This is not how I expected Leeds to look like. You know, like I'm thinking tower blocks and chavs. For some reason.
About 5 minutes drive from there, you're right, yes.
Oz, I've not seen you in forever. I didn't know you were on here.
Yes, I think I'm on just after you or just before you or something.
To be honest, I'm on in the third section, but I can't remember where.
It's in the chat. Tom's actually put a running order.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Beth, you're first in the third.
In the
that makes
messenger
sense.
chat.
Yeah, I'm just going through the messages now.
It's right at the beginning, though.
I'm so not used to being at a gig with somebody else called Beth. That's making my ears go funny.
If you search your name in the chat, you'll be able to find it really quick.
You should try being called John. And I named myself this.
You should insist on Jonathan. There's less Jonathans, I guess.
Once in a blue moon, there's two Genevieves.
I've had Jessica, I've had Ruth, I've had Elizabeth, I've had Betty, and I'm like, Beth is fine. But yeah, where Jessica and Ruth came from, I've no idea.
Oh no, if you're called Beth, if your name is Beth, then you'll get called Ruth. Because Beth's not a name. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like people presume.
I'm used to Ruth, but Jessica. I mean,
yeah, no, that's weird.
I was like, what? No.
I used to do a paper round as a teenager. And the guy that I worked for was insistent on calling me Dan.
Wow.
I get my name lengthened. I've had my name lengthened my entire life.
Really?
Yeah. Can't possibly be Beth.
Like, how many more syllables did that add on?
Mine usually gets mispronounced, so I'm just like, just call me TJ. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Just giving up. They're like, is that a man's name? I'm like, no, it's mine.
Did I get your name right, by the way?
Pretty much. It's Tyjana, so.
I think I said that maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not. I've just given up at this point.
Tyjana is a lovely name.
Thank you so much.
Where is it from?
Mum says it's Welsh.
Is it Welsh? Because
Yeah.
it sounds like Native American to me. I don't know why.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was either that and I'd be named after a Cornish town in Cornwall.
No. I do like it. I'm just gonna probably use it for a character. I've been like looking at your name. I'm like, yes, I like this name.
Mortalized.
Steal this name.
Whereabouts in Cornwall? It's what the fairies do.
Has anyone got a name that feel like that they were perfectly named for? Like they've got a name that perfectly sums them up.
I love my name now. I hated it.
I mean, I named myself Ben.
Very true. Yes. Okay. Because I was raised by two gay women, and
don't spoil your intro, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, great intro. That's his intro.
That's all you need.
It's a bit of the intro. I'm not going to go too far into that. But the mum who gave birth to me, she was intent on calling her firstborn Ben, and here I was. Now Ben being short for Benjamin, because as a kid I couldn't say it. I thought therapist and everything. I couldn't say my own name. But she named me Benjamin, which is Hebrew for son of the right hand. I'm the product of a sperm donor. So that really does.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That is really funny.
That's magical.
Yeah.
Right, Andy, are you there? I'm just waiting for you because you're in the bit. So.
Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet. Okay, then we'll start when I finish the cigarette.
Nice.
Hello.
It's how most poetry breaks work.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how I do it for when I do live events.
People are outdoors smoking. Yeah, at this moment, you got the luxury of doing it in your own home.
Oh, that's just so lovely. When we go back live, I'm gonna miss this.
Council flatmate, I smoke in my own flat anyway.
So Ben, when you get Benjamin, does that mean you're in trouble?
Yes, it actually is. I used to get it all the time when I was in the shit. When I was a
Worst
kid.
thing about my name is whenever someone shouts from us, you can't shout my names. I don't know whether I never know whether they're just shouting for us or whether I've actually done something.
Yeah. Well, if I was really, really in trouble, I would get Benjamin James.
Oh, there we go. The middle name.
Yeah. I do that to my son. is Gabriel Jesse Lee. So
The weird
when
thing
he,
is
when
that
he
she
gets
didn't
all of
even have
that,
a certificate.
she's in proper trouble.
See, I got named and Mum said, "Oh, no one can make a nickname out of this." My uncle was like, "Oh, TJ," and then she was like, "No," and everyone called me TJ for ages. She hates nicknames.
When I was born, apparently someone said to my mum, "You can't name a child Bethany," and then I was born, and I was born super early in the morning, so the nurse took me off. And then when my mum went to go get me the next day, they were like, "Oh, it's Bethany," and they went, "Which one? We've got 5."
Right, if everyone can please mute, we're going to start.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. Not that we've really got anywhere. I'm going to do another poem, and then we're going to shoot straight back into the second third, because I like making things complicated. Do thirds instead of halves. It's weird. All right. Anyway, this is things I probably shouldn't put in my Tinder bio. It's my autobiography, I guess. I was born in 1996 as Thomas Mark Crossland. Birthed into this melting pot of violence and addiction. By the time I was 3, I had scars from operations and scars from accidents and scars. I don't remember any of it. My memory doesn't stretch back into single digits. My mother, in her infinite wisdom, didn't quite like the way that rolled off the tongue, so I became Thomas Mark Rudd. Not sure why she kept the middle name, a match to cauterize the wound perhaps, so I figured that enough was enough. I couldn't keep being this reminder of his neglect. By 13, I had dabbled in churches, New Age prayer circles, Christian rock bands, and when I realized I was queer, I got my first silver chip. You see, fire and brimstone is a hell of a thing when you're being tempered in the heat. By 17, I was a lot more queer and a lot more into hurting myself, so I dropped the chip and went back to church, and I started smoking and fucking and smoking, and I've always been ace, so I was never really into it. It's just what the cool kids were doing, and fuck did I want to be cool. Meanwhile, the smoking turned into drinking, and the drinking turned into drugs, and then back into drinking, and back into smoking, and back into hurting myself in every way that I could, and thinking no, knowing that I could never do any good. So while I struggled to pick up the pieces of my life from the plush carpet of my parents' disappointment, I pieced together a phone and used the flashlight to spill ink from rotting ribs. I turned myself inside out and started writing, cataloguing every flaw, every mistake, to improve. That's where I am now, strapped down to stainless steel, open and bloody and raw. A dissection of lapses of judgment, an arterial map of mistakes and regrets, frayed nerves and crossed wires. I don't call myself Thomas anymore. I think that person died when I decided to take responsibility. When I cracked my ribs open, they oozed out onto the floor. Spoiled ink from a broken pen. I'm not quite sure what I am yet. I guess what I'm trying to say is, hi, I'm Cass. 24, non-binary, York, not interested in hookups. I'm passionate about hand-holding and the destruction of capitalism. Thank you.
Fucking let's go.
I wasn't going to ask for applause, but go on. Why not? Thanks. Moving swiftly onward.
Well done.
Thank you. Moving swiftly on. Ben is a Northeast performer who has turned his hand to prose, spoken word, and music. He was raised by gay parents, was homeschooled, and is on the autism spectrum, so his work touches upon feelings of being at odds with what's perceived as the norm. Ben is also one of the hosts for the spoken word comedy music night Bubblegum. Please welcome Ben Dawson-Punshon.
Hello. Okay. I was trying to wrap my brains on what to do tonight, and there was this one thing that that I wrote last year, and I started editing again a few days ago. And I was thinking if it was all right with Tom after I'd done this, maybe I could follow it up with a song.
Absolutely.
Excellent. There's a kind of a theme between the two. So this first piece, it's called Lover's Revolt. I kind of wrote it in response to a few things. I wrote it in response to coming into loggerheads with people saying, "Oh, we do not want a revolution. We don't want revolutions are counterproductive and everything. We don't want our shop windows broken or anything like that. We want things to be peaceful and everything." Without, I was starting to consider that actually peace times for people who have been persecuted comes as a result of them, not just sitting with the mouths shut. They do something about it. But I think in a world, in this year of the Black Lives Matter movement, of what's been going on with Poland with abortion rights as well, there's been a lot of really intense revolutionary action. But I think that sometimes revolutionary acts are they're not always blatant, they're not always visceral. I don't think they have to always be visceral, and this is kind of what this is about. So it's called Lover's Revolt. It would seem that some hold the notion rebellion is synonymous with screaming and violence. Believing the defiance against those opposed to freedom inevitably leads to taking arms. As if the only charm to break a chain is cast in savage aggression. Emancipation achieved by carving the crimson heads of oppressors. When appealing to peer compliance gives the appearance of violence meeting violence, these stakes risk making oppressors of the oppressed. Because unless we see reason to subvert it, there will always be another decision to be made over where to draw a division. I wouldn't say rage is out of line. I wouldn't say rage has no time to shine, because more than just time to time, it seems that rage comes far too late. When itching that trigger finger, reflect upon all of that which you detest before deciding on a way to resist. Because in a world of capitalist interests interested in keeping us firmly in the dark, revolutions on occasion rise silently in the night, waiting for the dawning of the light to shine upon its perfectly crystallized clarity. It's not hatred I see in the revolutionary. It's love. And some revolutions are simply two boys who are strolling the streets hand in hand. The opinions of anyone else be damned. That's one. I got myself a guitar. The magic trick. See, it's not in the bio, but I do magic too. Very badly. So this, following on about a piece about revolutions, this is a song called Revolution Comes. It goes like this. I've not done any mic checks or any sound checks or anything like that. So let's see if this works. I hope it does. The sun shines on the city today. Make me ill, saps my will, until the revolution comes.
The scum of the earth, kissing the dirt, until the revolution comes, escaping the schism of what it means to live. To live. Until the revolution comes, escaping the schism of what it means to live. When the revolution comes, escaping the schism of what it means to live, to live.
Thank you.
Massive round of applause.
Oh, that fucking slapped.
Fantastic. Absolutely bloody brilliant.
I can live with those words. Thank you.
Right, next up, Andi is a writer and performance poet from Newcastle, England. They have released 2 chapbooks, Burn Before Reading and Old Wounds, New Skin, both via analogue submission. They're currently working on their debut poetry collection. Please welcome Andi Talbot.
Hi. I'm gonna do 3. I've got 3 to do. Oh, there's my face. I need to get that off. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Sweet. Thanks. Cool. I'll just dive right in. This first one's called Early Shift. They don't really follow the mental health theme, I guess. One of them does. Anyway, fuck it. Start. Snooze alarm once. Okay, twice. Okay, 3 times, but then you really must get up. Skip breakfast. Never skip coffee. Find clothes, feed cats, brush teeth, leave the house. Grab another coffee on the way, arrive to work in the piss and rain. Prepare for small talk. Prepare for boring. Breathe. Get out of the car. You are ready. Smile. This last part is optional. Thanks. Sorry, I thought one of the cats was going a bit crazy. They tend to do that when I perform. I don't know if it's a sign of like whether they're enthusiastic about it or enthusiastic about it stopping. But yeah, cats. Yeah, so this next part, this next poem's called Anxiety. The cheering. Okay, we'll go with that. Yeah, that's optimistic. Let's go with that. Yeah, this is called Anxiety because I couldn't think of a better title. I shake hands with hands that shake with my anxieties, and he just smiles and stares a hole straight through me, before returning to pacing the corners of my mind now infected by his antics. On a more than regular basis, he starts by shaping my day before I wake and closes us out by twisting my dreams before I sleep. There's no escaping, no relief from this living, breathing nightmare. Thanks. This next one is 24 hours old, or a day. Just call it a day. Yeah, it doesn't have a title. It's the first thing I've written in about 2 weeks. So yeah, this is how it goes. The coastline is quiet at this time of year. Waves crash silent out of respect because sometimes silence is bigger than a gesture, and sometimes noise isn't enough. The lights this season dance along the shore, sending a Morse code message of festive hope. It's almost December. I can see my breath, my hands are numb and my feet are cold. And I'm alive. And this year, that's enough. Thanks. That's me.
Props to Andi, everyone.
Thanks.
Cats are cheering.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
That last one was brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
We're all brilliant.
I think it's just the kind of thing people need to keep in mind this year.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, we have Talya is a queer Jewish poet who produces Sounds Queer, Sheffield's regular LGBTQ+ variety night. She's the current Ilkley Literature Festival Slam champion and recently competed in this year's Roundhouse Poetry Slam. Please take to the stage Talya Stitcher.
Hi. Hello. Thank you. Not you, I'm performing. Sorry. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. This first one is called Move. I may be awake, but I have not awoken. Belly of the beast, the monster in these sheets, and I can't move. I can't move. Hollow, sick stomach, I plead to a ghosting congregation of pillows and postcards, posters in a foreign tongue I know but can't speak. I can't move. The will to do so strong but confined, hard to reach in some dark corner of my mind. I can't move, I can't breathe. How long will this define me? Urge to taste the world but unmoving from the little cotton square I call mine, even though I only rent it. When I told myself I'd get up today, I really thought I meant it. Thanks. Sorry about that. My partner thought that I was saying hi to them. It was just awkward timing. This next one is called Our House, and I just need to give a content note that it mentions death, alcohol, family, and violence-ish. Yeah. I remember this house differently. The shapes are wrong now and everything is smaller. Fits tighter around my shoulders as I step over thresholds not crossed in over 10 years. Each room is bursting at the seams. I am not seeing what is here but what was. In the wine-walled front room, I snuck sweets in through the window with friends and played The Sims instead of doing my homework. The stairs we turned mattress slide aren't green anymore, and the wallpaper my sister hit her head on after I pushed her down them is gone too. The dining room is the coldest, too modern, too new. The warm Levidas walls by Shabbat candlelight are too bright, white, reflecting the sunny day too much. This room is always nightshade and voice hums to me. But the spare room will always be halo bound. Little feet pressed into the stool in front of the mirror, Mum lowers the silk pavilion she married Dad in over my little arms. It's more yellow than white now. Like the morning light creeping through curtains shut to let him sleep. Like the crusty innards of his suit pockets, I remember flinching and giving up the search for my beaded hair bubble. We took a taxi home from the bar mitzvah. Mum had to sit in the back with us so she could hold his head out the window. At the end of their bed, I watched Star Wars for the first time and played polar bears, gobbling up the fishies Dad dangled for us and nuzzling into his chest. My sister's room was Barbie school and Bratz doll makeovers. Teletubby Wonderland and Thunderbirds, I'll go! My walls feel so much smaller, as though they never once boasted a hand-painted rendition of The Little Mermaid and all her friends. The spot where Dad took a fist out of one of them is unidentifiable now. Wet hair hazy, I swallowed Hubba Bubba sunshine in the embrace of sea blue windowsills. The tiles in the bathroom still rosy as the summer days my sister and I made potions in my bid on the lid of the loo. gappy teeth smiling out from a frame with bubbles in our hair. I can hear the squealing laughter, like the kettle boiling in the kitchen, grandparents admiring our crayon creations over tea and bickies. The garden step where strawberry plants used to grow, where we held a baby mouse until its last breath, and the back of the garden where we buried her beside my rabbit, who, coincidentally, died the very same day as my grandpa. We were in the living room when Mum came in to tell us. The same living room where I wrote my name on the wall and tried to blame my sister who was barely old enough to hold a pen. The same place we turned the sofas upside down, turned them into Pride Rock, into a witch's lair, into an obstacle course for the rabbits. The same place we lit the Hanukkah by the window and put on fashion shows with our friends for all the mums who cheered and told us we were fabulous in the days we believed it, no hesitation. Before we go, I sneak back upstairs, step into the secret cupboard inside the wall of my bedroom, and close the door behind me. In the darkness, I am young again, hiding from the world, from the loudness. I breathe in this dusty triangle before flicking on the light bulb and finding the scribble marked years ago in child's handwriting. I'm surprised it's still here, but then again, who would paint the inside of a cupboard? A man who doesn't know we used to live here locks our front door and asks us what we think. Mum natters away with him while I let the sun wash over my face, standing right in the spot where we once built a snow duck. Mum cut out carrots in the shape of feet and nose, and we posed beside it in our little pink wellies. I've got a photo somewhere. In it, we look happy. And moving into something hopefully less dark, depressing, I don't know. This is just a really short one about, I don't know, yeah. Sometimes I shower in the dark, let my fingertips see instead. The foamy feel of bubbles on skin, only feeling my way, with myself, with hands that should know this body better. We need to know our bodies better. So I leave the light off. And then this last one, which is short, I promise. Something that's been really, really good for my mental health that I started doing last year was going to pottery classes, which was really good fun, and it just takes you out of your head because you have to like focus on what you're doing with your hands. And I really, really miss it. And I want to go back. So this is about that. Silence pours through my eardrums. In 5 a.m. blue walls, I don't remember any dreams. My mind is quiet. The potted plants exhale as if a soundless consonant. Starshine nails jut out from plaster like a full stop. Tiny. Powerful. All soft beneath sheets, my form and yours, warm from last night's laughter, friction toes on the rug. Some may not call it dancing, but we do. Limbs quivering like leaves in a gale breeze, couldn't find the deck of cards, so we talked until sleep. Monday nights have never been so good to me. Tuesday mornings never so somber, as to know a whole week stretches before me until we can walk, arm in arm, to the studio. Thank you so much. This is so much fun and everyone's been so amazing, and I'm excited for everyone else too. Thank you.
Talya, that was fantastic. You are fantastic, and I miss you a lot. So hopefully we can perform again at some point in person in future.
Yes.
Unless the world ends, in which case.
One day.
One day. In many, many years. Right. This next poet is world renowned for completing 12 great labours, including slaying the Nemean lion. He is credited with inventing Finland. He flew in World War II as part of the 69th Squadron, and I made all this bio up because he's a late addition, because he's a legend. This is Charlie Staunton.
Hello, can you hear me properly?
Try again.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Yes.
Yeah, you can hear me? That's okay. I've got 2 late edition poems for you today, and I hope you like them. I haven't done this in a while, to be fair. The first one's called Nobody Comes Around Here No More. Nobody comes around here no more. Visitors that once left crumbs of the fun they had, sprinkled sadness on the crinkles at the corners of our eyes, every time they waved goodbye, but no one warned us of the lies that they would always be there to warm us in the night. They stormed us with surprise, they waited until they were sure that they could strike, and now we are left, stressed, bereft and broken, words unspoken, eyes closed and hearts wide open, hoping things might change, but nobody comes around here no more. To our towns of missing teeth, crooked smiles to let, our overbites get set and sheathed, releasing the pieces of grief from our indentured histories of home. Because alone we stand, prone we hand over our memories to just about anybody who will listen, because nobody comes around here no more. Our stories are tapped on the old maps of our cracked skin, thin details pale against the sunlight sweeping through the holes within our handshakes. Because we've spotted the signs and we've dotted the lines of our escapes from the passage of old man time himself. Here's find the treasure of the measure of the wealth he can glean from our ignorance of the world outside this city. Because isn't it a pity that nobody comes around here no more, where the streets taste of yesterday's headlines and the shop windows are screenshots trapped in destiny's headlights, keeping our reflections secret from our shadows, just in case they ever catch up and our outlines no longer match up with who we wanted to be. Because you see, we wanted to leave. We wanted to see ourselves breathing in through the lungs of a different life, but nobody comes around here no more. And we're just sat looking back through one-way glass on the brick lane shit-stained pathway to the past, with hindsight binding fast to our vision that, of course, all roads lead to this one. It's a countdown of all the sunsets we've seen and forgotten and all the sunrises we've been too blind to see. Because somehow, life jumbled up all the letters of our history, and now, nobody comes around here no more. Thank you very much. The second poem is a poem about my mum. This poem is called Super Mum. Content warning, I do talk about the death of a parent and suicide. My mum is so beautiful. They say that Helen of Troy was the face that launched 1,000 ships, but my mum, she could launch 1,001. My mum is so intelligent, she counted to infinity twice. My mum is so wise, last week there was a disturbance in the force. It was Yoda asking for advice. My mum is so efficient, she can clap with just one hand. And my mum is so sweet, people like to pour her on their pancakes. Man, my mum is so athletic, she once beat a wall at tennis. My mum is so strong, she can carry 1,000 bags of shopping at once. My mum is so brave. When I was 12, she tried to kill herself. And I stopped her. Now, I don't mean to rock the boat, but when it happened, I felt like the first mate trying to keep the ship afloat the moment after the captain has fallen overboard. And I realized in that moment, I didn't know my mother at all. There were many times in my life when she nearly died. But this time was different. She's my hero, Super Mum. We'd been on many adventures together, had loads of fun. We'd fought the shadows in the dark and conquered the monsters under the bed and all the villains and the baddies and all the books I've read. But every superhero has a secret identity. And hers is called depression. From then on, I made it my mission to go from being her biggest fan to her best friend, to try and understand the reasons that led to her wanting life to end. It was a struggle and a while before I was able to fully comprehend one thing. The knowledge that the magnitude of her love for me and the gravity of her pain were not mutually exclusive of each other. I mean, my mum can't carry 1,000 bags at once, but she's still strong enough to carry the weight of the world and carry on. My mum can't beat a wall of tennis, but she's got the tenacity of one. My mum can't be poured on pancakes, but she's still the sweetest man. And my mum is still efficient, even if she claps with both her hands. My mum isn't mates with Yoda, but she's definitely still wise. And she's still mad intelligent, even if she hasn't counted to infinity twice. She's still beautiful and brave and a brilliant human being. And every single day, she is the hero I keep seeing. Nothing in the affairs of humanity is worthy of great anxiety, and yet we still feel it. We cannot claim to preach about what we do not understand, but we can only show our love for those that do. My mum taught me that, and now I'm teaching it to you.
Bloody beautiful, Charlie. Can I make one request?
Ooh,
Can I make one request? I think you know what's coming.
Let me have a drink.
Yeah. Thank you. You're a legend.
Who else likes books? Imagine being in a Zoom room full of poets. A lot of people like books. I'm quite into books. So I wrote a poem about them. So, you know, when you were little, your mum tried to make you be friends with her friends' kids, but sometimes you and them both knew the other wasn't someone you wanted to be friends with. Well, it seems that I used to get that an awful lot. I wasn't cool, but I was smart, and I liked to think that I was funny, but none of that mattered. I was a fool. My parents had a shit car, and we didn't have any money. No fancy trainers, second-time hand-me-down stuff, and a need for improvisation replaced the brand new Nike Airs, new clothes, and the PlayStations. I had a tough time treading the rough line, but my parents, I couldn't blame them. They tried their best, and so I know that I shouldn't shame them, that I need to get to a place where I'm playing in a different game when I could provide all the things that should have came when I was growing up, and not just when I got fame, and hopefully show to me I'm supposed to be one of this world's main men. Because growing up, I was quite the particularly peculiar child. Just a beginner on this path to someone unrulier and wild with interests that didn't often extend much further than the end of my arms, by facing a book of pretend and a rabbit called Charlie as a good luck charm. Because I spent more time in other worlds than in this one, listening to other people's fictional pearls of wisdom, because age 5, I became an addict. Addicted to reading and words, that is. And to let you know just how absurd that is, I used to get into trouble for reading books. And I can see that you're probably giving me funny looks, but I was late for school every single day because I'd be reading books instead of getting changed. Often these were the only places that made sense. I could block out the world and let the adventure commence, dispense with the intense pretense that everything in my life was fine. Just break open the pages and let each sentence shine. It's full beam, cinematic, straight into my mind's eye, and experience from my bedroom what it feels like to fly. In a clapped out Ford Anglia and crash into a moving tree, or ride atop a dragon before a tiger came for tea. I've been to the front line in more wars than I can count, and I've seen it through the eyes of those who know what it was all about. I'm an intergalactic, interdimensional imagination time traveler, and I've got the hitchhiking tactics of a conventional patient prime passenger, and I'm on the 42 bus now, straight through Earth and beyond, stopping off on the way to pick up Sherlock and Bond, because it's been a curious incident concerning a dog in the nighttime, and my old pal Roald Dahl thinks it might be the right time to get the gang back together again, just for a special treat, because we've been feeling quite robotic, dreaming of electric sheep. We cross where 5 rivers meet on a wooded plain, and in the distance I can see Treasure Island again. My brain waves are lapping at shores as the tide goes round this world in 80 days, no more. The bus stops, I rush off, a surge of recognition hits me like a Molotov cocktail, and as the shock pales, a glowing wave of comfort makes me rock whale. Every word and every story is tattooed tendrilled across my skin, always shifting, always changing so as to let the new bits in. I'm back in the mind palace, and I'm surrounded by friends whose tales full of chalice have got down to the end. It suspends me with sorcery too special to send back, so I tend to extend that to fend off the realities of the day and transcend the formalities of having to say farewell to my fictional favourites in full. They know I'll be back soon. I can't withstand the pull. I need words to live, and if I don't get my fix, you'll find me sat in the corner reading the back of a Twix. Also, so I sort of slightly stuffed that because I could see a tiny little you just absolutely loving life.
You blow me away every single time. I always like but it's always really fucking good. I maintain you are still one of my favorite poets.
Bless you. Thank you so much for having me.
Legend. Thank you so much for filling in tonight. You are the best.
Appreciate it.
Right. It's time for our second headliner. Jonathan is a trans poet from Manchester. His debut pamphlet, Ampersand won the Indigo Dreams Pamphlet Prize, and his second, Witness, is out now with Burning Eye. Sorry, I fucked that up. But welcome, Jonathan Kinsman!
Let's go.
This is gonna start dark and get worse. You've been warned. It is the season of dead emperors, and they are pulling bodies out of you again with the faithlessness of people who have seen God come and leave. Now they care only for the cold mud soaking into their shoes. They bring cigarettes and flasks full of whiskey because they know the night will be long, meandering towards the conclusion of a beam of torchlight falling across a set of stiff fingers, or perhaps the concave back of a skull grown over with hair like moss across a stone. You no longer hold them in baptism. You have become an unforgiving thing. On nights like this, I see the hills sideways, the valley, your gaping mouth, your breath on my bare legs. There's a pulse in the movement of grass. I have counted the steps between here and the train tracks, the thrum of the river. Sometimes every light blows overhead that marks the journey home, and the fields watch with their dark horses, and for a moment you sound like God. Like someone calling in the distance, the beat of footsteps on the path, or a hand reaching upwards from the water, or a chasm opening up inside the earth. So this one is a true story about a thing that happened while I was at school. And it when I tell people that this actually happened, it always makes them gasp. And when I find it in my notebook, I will read it to you. Jonathan should have marked his places a bit better. But yeah, so basically this is about the time a guy self-immolated on my school playing fields. It's called Immolations. You fell in love with the fireman's daughter, and I am sorry for your misplaced faith. This will protect you no more than sigils traced on playing fields by children running through the mist. This is a harsh place. In summer, the moors burn. Everything on foot turns to the water, collects in the reservoir live debris, and the earth churns up blackened bones that crumble to ash in your hands. The smallest of femurs, neat little skulls set with milk teeth, but it's winter's bite that's deepest. Do you remember our bare legs pink in the frost, how every snowflake scalded our skin, or the day we were turned back by panicked teachers, melting plastic reaching our nostrils slower than burning flesh? A man rises at dawn with divine calm and walks onto Oldham Edge with a carton full of petrol and a pack of cigarettes. His eyes burst like yolks, run down his face as tears. He takes his medication, does not even scream. It was so cold then, huddled together like sheep, your hands clutching for warmth, ice on every breath, bodies grow numb, and year on year it returns. I am frightened of who we are in winter. I am frightened of what we will burn. Thanks. Cool. Yeah. So I do have a pamphlet out with Burning Eye. If you are interested in any of the things you hear me read tonight, you can buy pamphlets from me at jonathankinsman.bigcartel.com. Okay, I'm done with capitalism now. So Witness is a pamphlet of poems where I rewrite the apostles as modern people. So this one is Judas. It's figs you can taste on his lips when you cover his ears with your hands and become the sellout of the century. Just you and him awake now. So you step over Peter in the fetal position, John sleeping with his arm thrown across his eyes, and for every breath you've despised Mary. It's you turning tricks at this hour with crumpled banknotes stuffed in your back pocket, hot enough to brand the skin through denim. And later, you'll ask yourself what he asked. Did it have to be a kiss? The answer, no. They'd have paid so much more for greater sins. So you thread yourself through the chaos of fistfights and handcuffs with a mouthful of stolen holiness staining a purple line on your teeth, ready for you to brush away in the morning, staring into your own unforgiving eyes. Already the money is worth less. And the skin is peeling faster than chapstick can fix the headlines. Watch Jesus Christ and Judas Iscariot lock lips. You hardly recognize your features, distant, grainy, indistinct beside an old mugshot, hair full of glitter, face black and blue. But there it is, the document of the deed, comments underneath, do you think he's fucked them all? And you breathe coffee and aspirin straight into your lungs, hack it up over the keyboard. The answer, no, not you. Never you. Isn't that what this is all about? Out on the lake with Peter, beloved fucking John, Mary's hands kneading his bare feet. We'll see soon enough. There he is, like he wanted, God on trial, solicitation, incitement, evasion, possession, resistance, at the mercy of the state. When does it stop? Designer cologne sleeps into the rot of the floorboards. You stand in the doorway, frozen under his gaze as his pupils shrink down into pinpricks. Mary's knees scrape against the floor in front of him, his hands tangled in her dark hair as she moves, the two of them enveloped in the thick haze. There will always be poor. I am finite. Your tears are hot on your face like molten silver, and the barrel sits heavy on your tongue, tastes like blood. They asked you for the price of a kiss. You didn't know it. Okay, cool. So I am going to read something brand new, and it doesn't have a title yet, and it's actually probably the darkest thing I've ever written, so I feel the need to give like a very specific trigger warning for this, because basically it's about knowing that you couldn't have come into existence without something truly terrible having happened to someone. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was no. And from it, life sang like iron through the guts, the cut and the thrust retched forth in the wet slap of bile against water. All the earth perched upon your cervix, how you trembled under its weight. We of infinite recursion, nesting dolls, ground at your insides, waiting for the break. Star gasped the blade that split the shell dripping yolk. You cannot make anything without grit. You polished your ache, and it shines, blinding, a body, a promise. And the nations cried, if you cannot keep it to yourself, we will keep it for you. Crowned the babe with paper, blank verse, severed. And the child wailed, winter alone on the mountain top, my stone mother, a scream, a scarecrow, howled the hangman and his wife, and they came. Madonna, we call her now, a precious thing, and you, my grandmother of the road ahead, Our Lady of ringing bells, queen under the earth. I lower my voice to you. Whisper in the bloody dirt, hymn umbilical. Name me clock. and I will wind back his hands. Stop time. Unspeak. Yeah, that's really, really dark. Let's talk about a completely different grandparent now. I have more grandparents than most. So that my granddad lost his we lost my granny in January. She had a very good innings. She'd been ill for a long time, so like it wasn't terrible that she died, but it's kind of thinking on my grandfather's position now. It's like, what a year to be going it alone for the first time. And yeah, this is a poem about him. It's called Cosmonaut. From the front step, my grandfather watches the sky for something going up, while the old dog next door remembers his howl, thinks of Gagarin lighting the vast darkness a struck match, the cruelness of making him go alone, squints at the stars, waits until the dog quiets. Whatever he's looking for just gets further away. He turns to his empty house. Thank you. Cool. So I want to talk about, because for me, my mental health goes hand in hand with kind of the facts of my existence as like a queer person. And I want to read a poem about trying to talk to my mother about queerness, and for me the easiest way to do that was actually by talking about music, ironically. And again, Jonathan should have marked his pages a little better than he did, so we'll just keep singing until I find it. Do, 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 do. Didn't think you were getting the song as well, did you guys? It's a really great song. This is going on an embarrassingly long time because I don't remember where I've put it. This is really embarrassing. I'm very sorry. That's not it. Here it is. Yeah, so this is a poem about one of my mum's favourite songs. It's called Don't Leave Me This Way. There's a place at the bottom of my mother's longs for the communards cover, a belt, a shriek, a hallelujah over those high notes, the steering wheel, her dance partner as she sings, her mouth so wide open, I think her soul might fall out. When I tell her her taste in music is pretty gay, she thinks a moment, then says, I guess you're right. In my dad's car, the CD player's jam full of Stooges, Bunnymen, Sex Pistols, but I remember timing the ride to church in tracks of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. At 6 years old, Holly Johnson's Cackle, rocking my baby queer bones, an earthquake caught on record. At that age, when I pictured dancers, I left out the thinness, how their clothes ate them up. Everyone looks pallid under neon lights. Everyone shakes like the spirits entered them in those disco cathedrals. Eats of the body, loves, loves, loves. Screams out their hymn. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. All right, so I didn't really want to leave you with that one. I wanted to leave you with something hopeful. So this is a poem I wrote about my partner, who some of you will know. This is called August in Edinburgh, because my happy place is the Edinburgh Fringe, and eventually I will get to go again. It's been dry for days now, But summer in Scotland is the smell of wet leaves, and I have left you in the banshee to pluck my tipsy way through midnight streets. Love isn't here yet, but every barefoot juggler catches in your cadence, and the glow of the circus tent maps my path across this city drenched in song. The breeze says, come back. Even as I spool the train tracks southward and wind the year for winter, I am listening to the wailing in my chest, every station busker and magician that points me back the way I came, to this place. And I am keeping August in my suitcase, like a promise, like a prayer. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm really excited for the rest of the night.
Woo! No, no.
Oh, fucking hell,
Yeah.
John. Oh, I never cry at poetry ever, but I teared up halfway through that. Oh my god, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Also, was that last one about Bob?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for that. That was really brilliant. I'm saying that a lot tonight, but you're all brilliant. Anyway, next 10-minute break is right now. So have a cig, go to the toilet, stick around and chat again. We'll see if it's actually 10 minutes this time. Everyone go buy John's pamphlets as well.
I already did.
Good. Go buy another one.
I did too. Somebody lent me it, and I literally ordered it before I posted it back to them. I honestly, Jonathan, I am not even joking.
Yeah, my little sister did the cover for that. She's 18. She's gone off to Leeds Art to do illustration. So when she was actually 17 when she drew that. So yeah.
Nice. I can't say too much, but keep your eyes peeled at the beginning half of next year for something, maybe, potentially.
Ooh. Preview. Right. I have to put my notebooks away immediately before this entire shelf falls down. Because it's not really a shelf, it's the top of my bed.
I'm going foraging in the kitchen. No, I'll be back.
Just some really nice poetry so far. I really appreciate all you guys.
Just had a message off one of my metas who is watching the stream, and she at my third poem. That's a bit gay. My third poem, my last poem.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's the great thing about coming out as a man when you're in a relationship. It's gay now.
Yeah. Perks of being non-binary, and if everyone that gets with me is gay. Everyone.
Great.
I will claim them all one by one. Or 3 by 3, depending on how lucky I am that year.
Oh, do you need something embarrassing?
Always, Alex.
During one of those poems, I had a swig on my protein shake. Didn't do the lid up properly. I'm wearing black jeans. It's a white shake. It's all down my legs. It looks like there is cum everywhere. Like, and it's in my
mask.
You know, that's
amazing.
Nice excuse, Alex.
Hang on.
You can't blame it on the wedding.
Yeah, Alex, as Connor says, this is still broadcasting. We are still live.
Actually.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, we're not pausing the live stream.
It says in the corner of the screen.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, wonderful.
I just thrusted at my computer screen.
Corroborate my story that I'm actually trying to fix the bookshelf up. Cool. I've got evidence.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I'm always slightly frightened whenever I do a gig because occasionally, like, the end half of this shelf of books just decides it doesn't want to be here anymore and just boofed.
Connor, for fuck's sake. Speak of Alex's OnlyFans. Oh my god.
I do have OnlyFans.
I'm going to need a link later.
There's nothing on it, really.
Oh, I thought that was a joke. You actually have an OnlyFans.
Yeah, like my dick's not out or anything, so.
That's the question, but okay.
What do you mean?
Not what
Alex, why is it not out? Like,
the temptation to do a mean joke is really strong in me.
I mean, right ahead. Like,
And my brain is just going, doesn't having an OnlyFans imply that you have fans?
Oh, absolutely savage.
I say to the man with top billing at this event.
Cambell, not.
No, Alex did.
When you were just like, I want to say something mean. I was like, here it goes. Here comes some sort of dick joke. No. So much worse. This is. I was not prepared for that. I was just like, oh, there's going to be another dick joke. Wasn't a dick joke. It wasn't a dick joke.
Sorry, Alex. Don't worry. I'm your fan. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
only fan,
paying for the
My only
service.
fan.
I'm not
You're just going to knock the S off the end.
Yeah. Only fan.
I am Alex's only fan. That's great. Yeah.
I am wearing my own merch right now. So
You have merch. People have merch.
yeah, sort of. I mean, me and my mate Alex made a podcast called the Alex and Alex Podcast, and we intentionally produced the worst merch that you can imagine. Like, everything about it is bad. It doesn't sit right. It's not comfortable. It's overly expensive. We don't expect anyone to buy it at any point, but we get to say that we have merch. So, for example, one of those things that we have is we have a plain white T-shirt. It's £100. It's just a fruit.
Has anyone actually bought that?
Well, no, of course not. Like,
Just checking in case there's any idiots on the internet.
well, that's what we're hoping for. Just one.
That's what I'm
dumb-
saying. Yeah.
But yeah, this
Not yet.
one says Alex and Alex Podcast down the side and validate us on the top is the only good piece of merch that has ever been produced by us.
That just looks like it says validate US, like as if like from the US or something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? It's interesting that you say that. We've got a NASA T-shirt, and underneath it it just says, what is it? National America, Space America, because that's
Nice.
Oh, it's a show.
Let's fucking go.
Not yet, Alex. Not yet.
5'2", you'll feel bad.
Big people share, Alex. You're not on yet.
Yeah.
Save the show for your slot. Yeah.
I mean, it's more like the pre-show.
You can do whatever you want with your 15 minutes. Just wait till then.
Mistake there, Tom. Mistake. Sorry.
I mean, I all I have to say is, and I don't know, I presume some of you will have heard tale of broccoli nipples.
No.
Yeah.
I now need to be informed, please. This is interesting.
No.
Worst thing that's ever happened at an open mic, as far as I can.
I was not there, but I have heard it told many times.
I haven't. Please tell me.
You probably know better than me, Talya.
Not really, because I haven't heard it for a long time, because I haven't seen any of that lot. But
basically, an out of control
and tell it
open
together.
mic came on and had people cut bits of his shirt or something.
Yeah, and then there was
broccoli taped to his nipples.
Yes, you do. Yeah,
and then
sure.
if I'm correct, he wouldn't get off the stage when he was asked to, and it got awkward.
This is at a poetry night.
Yeah. Oh, it was in Durham, I believe.
Yeah, Durham. Yeah, Durham.
I feel so much better about the audience member we had on Zoom in the bath now. Thanks. Really helps.
In the bar?
Not muted. It was.
Oh, just see like all the splashing.
I was at a non-poetry event, but a meeting.
I was not doing the Zoom hosting, and I was frantically looking for who it was so that we could mute them. And the person who was doing the Zoom hosting was reading an absolutely beautiful poem, which did have a watery theme, but not like that. It was just awful.
I was at it wasn't a poetry thing, it was a different social thing, but a guy went for a piss on Discord, unmuted. We could still see him, but the camera was at yay high. But like we were like, are you?
This
Was
was
he
the
not
last
pissing?
Zoom night I had.
Hey.
But we ended up, so my friend's act was cat themed, but it was all pre-recorded. So we were watching it on her TV dressed like that. But then we had like a cat food bag that we'd washed out and put a packet of crisps in it. So we were sat like eating that throughout the whole thing.
Also,
beautiful.
I thought of a pun as everyone was talking. Because I have an OnlyFans, I actually am a hoet, and that's how I want you to bill me from now.
Oh my god.
Poetry.
Okay.
I'm happy with that. That's something I am now. You know, I've got a pal called Heather who does have an actual legitimate OnlyFans and not just something that she made because she was bored. And she would have fucking loved that pun. There's 100% chance that she's not watching this though.
I didn't. I feel like I have no right to the title Hoet in Chief, despite the fact that I have like a whole like subsection of my poetry is kinky poetry. I just didn't read any of it tonight.
Well, you can be the Hoet laureate. This is nice. This is my favourite pun for at least the last 10 minutes. I'm
We're releasing an anthology. It's called Hoetry.
Yeah, I have a poem.
I'd buy it.
I can't read it, but I've got a really. Do you want to hear the good bit of that one poem about wanking? We're live.
Yeah.
So tomorrow.
Yeah.
I tried my hand at the Tinder game, but my Harry Potter chat-up lines made me fall at the first hurdle. Turns out telling a woman you'll leave her more moaning than myrtle doesn't make a vagina gurgle, just curdle. And that's probably the...
Oh, Lord.
That's arguably the best part of that entire poem.
Oh, Lord.
Right, okay, if everyone can, we are going to start again.
I'll read that.
If everyone can mute, especially Alex.
Alex, mute your fucking self.
John, your face was great when that happened.
Right, okay, everyone mute, please. Thank you. Welcome back to the third of the Sad Poets Doorstep Club. I'm going to do one more poem, and then we're going to move into the last section of performers for tonight. This one isn't mental health themed, not really, until the very end. Charlie and Alex have both influenced me over the last few months to try to get something together, and I'm not, everyone here that knows me knows that I don't show off, as it were. I'm not that kind of person, but I'm just going to show off for a little bit. This is Journey of Self-Discovery. Every one of you matters. Every single one of you matters. When I say that every single one of you matters, I mean everyone that's listening matters, because everyone that's listening matters. And when I say everyone that's listening matters, I mean everyone that's listening and listens and envisages visions of witty wordsmiths working written verses and verbiage versus vicarious curses cussed in cursive. They matter. Of course they do. Because everyone that's listening to primitive diligence, pillaging villages using pillars of brilliance matters. Everyone matters. And when I say everyone, I mean the mattered badatas reacting to sadness, the ever attackers standing up for the masses, the massive attractions and absolute bastards, the absence and anguish, the passion and passive. You matter. Lots of people are listening to these pristine decisions, these pieces of dictionary with infinite precision tagged with minute inscriptions of tenor and friction. I'm inflicting inflections with intention to mention the slightest impression to ease off contention to masses and slightly pretension. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You. Your worth is inherent due to the mere fact that you're sat here, supporting the arts and listening to poets carve their way into your hearts. We toil for your enjoyment, because without you, we'd just be here, sat in an empty Zoom room, talking to nobody in particular. So as you come and go, quick and slow, ebb and flow, choose to stay. Help these poets turn page by page, leave through till they're on center stage. Let them engage you and stay true to take you and break you. This breakthrough of vain truths will make use of days lost and deluge to tell you that you matter. Every single one of you matters. And if you think you're exempt from this and that you don't, in fact, matter, you are wrong. You've never been more wrong about anything in your life. And it's not because everyone here matters, though they do. Because you matter. You do. You matter. Because every single one of you matters. Every single one of you matters. Every one of you matters. For your own reasons, on your own merits. You matter. So why don't I? Thank you. Oh, that's the first time I got through that without fucking it up somewhere. That was actually quite impressive.
Let's fucking go.
Thank you. Alex, you should be very proud of me for that one. I did not mess it up. Oh. Right, okay. Enough about me. Bethany is an old-fashioned romantic, but between her typewritten lost letters and hand-dried flowers, this punk princess is a fiercely passionate spoken word artist. Ready to show you a world deeper than your darkest thoughts, please welcome the one, the only, Bethany Rose.
Thank you. I'm so sorry, my phone rang through my laptop through my speaker. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to do 3. I fell for you like October leaves, letting go of all I knew, and yet you turned me into packet pasta. Dehydrated tears and left at the back of the cupboard make a U-turn. When you reach the battered bean tinned left for when there was nothing else unless I was less than unnecessary. Thank you. This one is called Pandemic. It's sort of mental health themed, sort of pandemic themed, and there's no trigger warnings for it. There is a sickness in the air. A nation becomes a mass of despair, eyes and mask and distance. We must not touch. We breathe it in, it's on our skin, it will destroy until we give in. The myths and monsters in my mind are finding it hard to adjust. We must fight or flight or freeze, and the air is filled with hate and disease, and the plague is coming. The plague is coming to take us to a place of bright lights and darkened halls, and all we know does not exist. And so we stay inside. We don't see or hug or kiss our friends, and when all of this comes to an end, we ask, what is left, and is it worth it? Thank you. And my final piece is called Moonchild. You, my love, are a moonchild. Live by the night and share your witchcraft with only those who deserve to share your light. The equinox has been and gone, and the summer song can no longer be heard. It is but a whisper once heard on the wind. Moonchild, listen carefully, and let the lunar tides decide your fate. With a heart as wild and crimson as hers, I couldn't help but bleed. Breathe with me, and I will breathe with you until you bleed no more. Thank you.
Woo! Round of applause for
Good.
Bethany, please. Oh, thank you, Beth. That was fantastic. It's great to have you back. Whew. Right. On to the next. Oz is an international award-winning poet and mediocre bass guitarist. Same. His latest chapbook is Wolf Planet, a psychological prose poetry sci-fi folktale novella. Please welcome Oz Hardwick.
Oof. Oh, wow. What a introduction. I'm going to just read some bits of one longer poem from a chapbook called The Lithium Codex, which the title is a bit of a giveaway, really. It's about an interesting period where I was prescribed that particular strange little thing. And so I'm going to read a few poems from this and just sort of link them together rather than breaking in between. The window only opens a crack, but it's enough to let the world in, with all its practiced diagnoses and passive-aggressive concern. It sits too close, asks if I've been looking after myself, comments on my weight loss, feigns interest. Running its fingers through the dust on the TV, it suggests housework, cooking, decluttering, recommends exercise, yoga, a beach holiday, a new career, cosmetic surgery, and a fairy godmother. I'm used to its tottering concerns, precarious as Jenga on a pitching ship, swaying, ready to tip at the slip of a nervous breath. So I close the window, but the world's still in here, its head pressed cold to my lap like a dead seal, suggesting the 24-hour shopping channel, recommending a higher dose. Everything is song, from the birds to the bricks. Houses sing favourites from the early 80s, their lyrics gaining strata of meaning in retrospect. He phones his dead mother to hear her answer phone voice, and she sings back lines from Hoagie Carmichael, Spike Jones. Under any other circumstance, he would join in and dance, but the whistling postman won't stop feeding junk mail through the letterbox about takeaways, estate agents, book clubs, broadband, cosmetic dentistry, you name it, their contesting chatter crushing him into the sofa. If this was a musical, their voices would coalesce into the uplifting finale. If it was an action movie, he'd burn the mothers down. And if it was sci-fi, he'd wake up in a million years. The songs get louder and the clock misses a beat. And it's the first real frost of the year, and roofs are patterned like cows steaming in the morning sun. The car coughs and refuses to start, so I begin the long walk through lanes that have changed overnight into Edwardian photographs of themselves, sharp but featureless, devoid of people. By the time I reach the office, it's summer, and I see myself aged 5 or 6 queuing for an ice cream on an endless beach of castles and flags. Mum waves from a deck chair, but Dad is busy digging a moat, while my sister, her legs a sunburnt blur, runs towards the distant sea. My hands are wrinkled but still cold and shake as I buy a coffee. The lift jams between floors, and all I can hear are seagulls and rising waves. A mattress on the floor, towers of unshelved books. The night slips through another crack in the floorboards, a Sinatra melody that lives in your head, though you've not heard it since you can't remember when. Empty bottles, dregs in glasses. The room's full of shapes that anyone else would find threatening, but your skin feels like your own for the first time in ages, and the dawn can't step over the threshold until you invite it in. Symptom, or side effect. There are days when I long to be the spent matchstick still lying in the hearth from last winter, so I throw away everything from the kitchen cupboards and press my palm to the candle flame until it freezes. Carve away my imagined flesh with nothing but water. Judge my bones wanting when they shuffle into the wardrobe mirror. Madness or medication. There are words I laugh at when I spit them out. Crazy, nutter, psycho, the same words I have tattooed on my back in invisible ink like a kick me notice on April Fool's Day. Sticks and stones and all that, but these words beat and burn. Kill or cure. The grate is empty of all but dust and voices. My body is empty of all but scars and words, and discarded blister packs are empty of all but inevitable futures. Then winter caught up with me between the theatre and the railway station, slipped its arm in mine like we were old friends, and picked up a conversation that belonged to neither of us. We spoke about the birds on the red list, the books on the black list, the comfort neither of us had ever found in strangers. We stopped to listen to a busker or a policeman or the river singing beyond the locked park gates. But when I dipped into my pocket for change, all I found were hailstones and clipped tickets for cloakrooms and provincial zoos. And finally, she forgets arrivals, but remembers every time she's left, the softly closing door, the cab to another station. She blinks through the window, transforming the morning into an old movie stuttering into life. There are still milk floats in this part of town, like rattling iceberg carving into sleeping streets, and paper boys cut between hedges, careful to let sleeping dogs lie. And she remembers a Christmas, snug in flannelette pajamas, sipping hot milk, carefully peeling tape so as not to tear cartoon paper. The fire crackling, everyone smiling, but she can't remember what was inside. It's 5 a.m. and the rail tracks are staves on which early birds improvise songs. She looks to the point where they curve into nothing, begins to whistle, then stops.
Round of applause, please.
Yeah.
Oh, Oz, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, that was great. I'm having trouble finding compliments I haven't said like 1,000 times already, but oh, bloody brilliant. Before the next person, I'd just like to quickly shout out someone on the YouTube comments. Someone commented this about an hour ago. These poets don't seem too sad to me. Yeah, I hope we've proved you wrong on that one. And if not, oh well. Right. Sorry, I lost my page. Right, next up. Genevieve is a sun-dodging poet, foul-mouthed queer feminist and Andi Rosé socialist. They are the founder and host of Halifax's Spoken Weird and its sister event Spoken Queered and Weird of Mouth. They are published in Manchester's Flapjack Press, released their debut collection The Dance of a Thousand Losers in 2017, and are due to release their second collection Vitriol Works in March 2021. Please welcome Genevieve Walsh!
Hello, hello. Especially massive hello to that YouTube commentator. If we're not sad enough for you, here I am in a tier 3 bit of the north in a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt with a baby crying in the background. Is that sad enough for you? I really hope it is. This first poem is basically a long-winded response to how come you millennials are all so sad. Because letters were assigned to us that make no godly sense. Because where are you from is a question that brings us out in shingles. Because all we are is stark frayed edges, blue tack turning grey at the corners, fresh cardboard boxes and dashed promises. Because permanence to us is so fictional, it's hilarious. Because we're broken, meaningless chains of code. We are back-to-back obvious punchlines, instant noodles and tepid sex. We are eye-popping statistics that no one double checks. Because we're generation whatever next. Generation you couldn't make it up. We are no smoke without fire. We are misbegotten plans. We're the work of idle hands and the labour of the loveless, the fruitless trees that spring from the cracks now crushed by a spoons and a Starbucks. Because we're the parents of Express Yourself and the children of Don't Make a Fuss, the yellow stickered damaged goods shunted round from shelf to shelf, because our blessed screens, they taught us how to score and pull and push too hard, to down in one and tear in two and perpetuate a lie, how to selfishly live and selflessly die, but not how to cope with the numbness, and because we're bored and we're bloodless. And all this, cradle to the grave, is choreographed and witless. Postcodes and pigeonholes, astral signs and borderlines, X's and Y's that paralyze us. Thank you. So this next one, trigger warning for depression and stuff. I normally only perform this one in January because it's about the month that sets off my PTSD. However, 2020 has basically been one long January, so fuck it, I'm going to do it now. This is called Fun. January's skirts remain motionless, while a forced 10 gale takes the tiles clean off the roof. Her lips barely move as we sing my final rites to the tune of Merry Christmas, Everyone. And her knees don't bend or creak as she leans in for the final shun. I don't even work here, hun. I just come here on my lunch hour and do this for fun. January takes a twirl to show her mates how good she looks since she started the me-free diet. 10 years strong and one goth lighter. Her stale Bacardi jibes spill into my blood, my spit, my bile, and with every roller cola smile, the noose gets a little bit tighter. All sunlight now is open roadkill, all fresh air is mace. Love is a dog-eared postcard depicting a made-up place. A fleet of broken little ships to January's kingdom come, and the really, really fun bit is we used to be mates. Somewhere in the dark recesses of the internet, there's a stray bundle of pixels depicting us flipping off strangers in other people's kitchens, bitching and laughing our lives away, just me and January, middle fingers raised. I'm growing so suspicious that for all this time I've been throwing shapes at my own reflection. Tell me then, why curves in the road turn my stomach, why the stink of bleach and Lambrini sink through every pore when you gain pace, why all sunlight is open roadkill, all fresh air is mace, and love is a European craze that'll never now reach this place. Tell me, is this what fun looks like? Nonsensical repetitions of lyrics we just don't understand, or is this just a joke to which the punchline has grown tired and old? And tell me, how does it feel when your heart grows cold? Thank you. I'm just going to finish with one short one, which is basically aimed at anyone here who struggles with mental health issues, and especially if you're one of us queerdos. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, and this is called Knock Yourself Out. Despite yourself, you can cut away at the flesh that lets you resonate, that pumps red blood to the blackest parts of your dwindling semi-human heart. You could carve away at the loud eccentric bits of you that fail to pass, curl up and hibernate in a habitat of sticks and stones, despite the bones of you that love the night and shudder at the sight of pink, that drink in Schadenfreude and exhale Wanderlust. This Cats and Jammer of a place is a world of paper shadows. We rein it in, you shake it off, and you raise a veil of doubt. Despite archaic platitudes that cut you off and out, just knock yourself out, Arcade. Knock yourself out. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Woo-woo! Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear you perform again, Jen. It's been a while. Oh.
It has indeed. I practiced earlier, and I'm so proud to say that my daughter, 10 weeks old, turned to me and went. So I was worried.
I'm a bit what's the word? I'm a bit reticent to ask this now, but we've got witnesses, so it's fine. Are we still on for Spoken Weird when the world gets back to normal?
Damn right, mate. We'll see you in 2021. Fingers crossed.
Gonna say I missed my birthday, but never mind. It's fine. Right. Next up, the last. I can't do words now. I left them all in that poem a while ago. I've got none left. The last support act of the night. Chris is a mixed-race Native American living as an immigrant in the UK. He is the co-founder of Fight Evil with Poetry Press and is finishing his first full-length collection. Please, take to the stage, Chris Cambell!
Woo! Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Very happy to be here. I'm going to do a few poems, from my upcoming collection. They're not specifically about mental health, but like most stories in my life, they're not too far from it either, though. So this first one, they're going in chronological order. So this first one is when I was 4. Twice widowed on the fresh side of 20, my mother found work. I was 4, so didn't know whether I was for or against it. I just knew that when it was time for sleep, Mom told me my job was to climb the ladder into the loft above her bed in our tiny hotel room or studio apartments. Honestly, it's difficult to remember which because I was trying so hard to remain still, be silent, nightly winning the longest running game of hide and seek that Lake Havasu had ever seen. True, I had a good hiding spot, but I was a toddler ninja. The turtles had trained me well. Now, I know what you're thinking, but there's no way she was letting me win. I could always tell when she was trying her hardest to find me by the noises, moans, grunts, struggling. Some evenings I couldn't sleep, and I realized she would spend hours searching for me, inviting friend after friend to help her win. But in the end, I always woke up hidden to find the sun rising on my mother's spent, sleeping body. Mounds of soft, nude coyote skin, sometimes bruised, always exhausted from a night of searching, working, surviving. Most mornings, I sat and ate dried Cheerios in front of the TV while I waited for her to wake. You don't need milk because cereal is fortified. And when there were no Cheerios, I'd struggle to suckle from the two-dimensional women printed on the pages of magazines my mother hid under her bed. But no matter how hard I sucked, it was never enough. I'd stare dry-mouthed at those dazzling breasts, confused as to what use they were to anyone if they couldn't satisfy my thirst. Eventually, my mother would wake with a jolt, gently wiping away the remaining tears of last night's defeat, pull me close, and kiss my head, determined that she would do better tonight. Thanks. This next one fast forwards a bit to sort of early teenage years, so sort of 13 to 15. If I was famous, I'm sure it would be for something embarrassing. To wit, I am one of the keenest observers of others that many have ever met. And yet, until I was 25, I honestly believed that every time my tummy grumbled or gurgled audibly, it meant I needed to fart or poop. And my face would flood red in embarrassment. Because even though these things are funny and everybody does them, I still felt a tinge of humiliation at how public my body made my private's business. To be honest, I'd still probably be mixed up about it to this day if it weren't for the fact that I got married. And one time I mentioned this to my wife as we walked home from a social gathering. I'll never forget the way she looked at me like I was an alien or an idiot and suggested, or maybe you're just hungry. When's the last time you ate? Now, it's important to mention that I was no stranger to Winnie the Pooh or other cartoons where grumbly tumblies clearly spoke of the need for food, and yet I was so used to going without that I'd grown deaf to my own body's shouts, inventing instead a specter of potential social trauma to haunt me every time I was hungry. And I'm one of those people whose hunger is never satisfied. There's always more to be explored. And if that example is too trivial for your tastes, well, let me explain that math was one of my strongest subjects until the age of 13, when suddenly it all became algebra to me, and I had to resort to cheating. Hey, don't judge me. All right, up to this point, I'd watched all the adults I'd ever known doing it any way they could get it, so why shouldn't I find a friend with benefits? Though leading my formerly NASA-employed math teacher on was a task that took its toll on me. Somehow, I made it through those first 2 years of advanced high school math without solving for X, and why? I wasn't sure. Until I took an eye test at 15 and they told me I was nearsighted, stuck with an astigmatism which I suspect grew from focusing so hard on the present, unable to envision a future in an endless effort to survive whatever apocalypse was right in front of me at the time. Or, if you're my mother, it's from playing video games too close to the television, reading books under covers in dark rooms, desperate for stories other than my own to keep me company without getting me caught, because when your mother is a lady of the night, a strict bedtime matters a lot. But regardless of how it came to me, it explained why, when assigned a seat at the back of the class, I couldn't follow what was happening right in front of me, though with the newfound clarity this revelation brought me, I was able to catch up quick. I've never found a convincing reason for totally missing my nearsightedness other than it happened so slowly. I remained blind to it. And I still smile thinking of how I struggled to say the right things in certain social settings, always fishing for context clues, like that time 5 Nebraska guys were stood around a computer screen, each one whistling and remarking, "Ooh, what a beauty." So I piped up with, "Yeah, she's hot," as every eye but mine trained itself on my face, trying to understand the clever joke I'd made, because they knew I was no alien or idiot. But what could I have possibly meant by that when the picture on screen was a horse? And once a stunned someone mentioned that to me, I was too ashamed to admit that I didn't know why I couldn't pick out that pony out from the blurred pixels lit before me. So I launched into a complicated and improvised diatribe that described the thinking behind my cleverness. And to wit, if they would simply seek to be keener observers of the world around them, like myself, they would have immediately seen the joke, rather than remaining blind and ignorant. This last one is super short. I think we all have imposter syndrome about a lot of things in our lives. And when you have children, especially when you come from not a very stable family, that's a real source of, I suppose, fear, because, you know, eventually you're going to fail them. And this is, you know, sort of on that subject. Fathers are frail gods for whom success is elusive at best, and when finally caught, forever fleeting. Yet failure is a specter always close behind, never in short supply, a feast of humble pies packed full of the bitterest of fruits, picked at the peak of their season, present themselves for eating, more than any man can get through in just one lifetime. But when I look down at my sons and daughter, snuggled in close, completely at home, resting among the imperfect branches of my body, I know, deep in my brittle bones, I will never stop trying. I'm Chris Cambell. That's been my time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Chris!
I'm recycling things, but bloody brilliant as always. Before the last headliner, I'd just like to say a quick thank you to all the performers for coming and gracing me with your presence and your words. It's just been bloody brilliant. Again, I can't stop saying that. Thank you to everyone that's watched or is watching or popped in for like 5 seconds to say we weren't sad enough. I appreciate all of it, really. I'd also like everyone to quickly unmute and give a quick round of applause to Connor Sansby, our tech god, without whom we wouldn't be able to be here and do this event as we are doing so.
Yeah, buddy.
Praise the tech.
Thank you.
That was 3 claps. That was wonderful. Right.
No more.
The last headliner has asked me to improvise his bio and his introduction. So let's see how this goes, shall we? Alex Vellis is just as good as he thinks he is. His bold but well-founded claims to fame include speaking from the perspective of Atlas, holding the title of Grand Slam champion and 2-time Guinness World Record holder. He is my editor and my favourite poet, even though he doesn't let me say that. He can't stop me now. His quest for self-improvement is an inspiration to many, including myself. He is his own favourite poet. He is Alex Vellis!
Oh, buddy, like, I don't tell everyone that I'm my own favourite poet, so that's, thanks. Right, so I'm going to give a content warning over everything that I'm about to say, including the preamble. The preamble, I'm almost certainly going to be rude of some description. I'm probably going to make dick jokes, stuff like that. I suddenly can't think of anything. I had this whole preamble planned out, but it's gone. It's fucked it. I fucked it. Anyway, but yeah, and all of the poems, they're all sad as shit. They're all sad as shit. They cover things like I hate it when this happens. Well, got a little bit of incest in it. There's a little bit of incest there. Never seen someone get so excited about the word incest just then. Bit of incest, you know. Anyway, bit of incest. There are some really, really dark traumas in there. There's some about my dad trying to kill me when I was a kid. There is divorce. There's alcoholism. There's why people don't love me. There's why one specific person doesn't love me. There's why I can't love myself. Why I'm deeply flawed as a human being. The continuous suffering that I feel every single day. I feel like that last one should have been a joke, really, but like, you know, it's just how it's going to be. Oh, also, you'll notice that I'm sitting like a really sort of hunched and like, you know, like an eagle from a book once. And that's because I'm sitting on a broken bed in a storage room with something that looks remarkably, now that I've clocked it, like one of the stones out of Fifth Element in the background. It's not, it's a light. Also, that stuff here, you can't see that. No, it doesn't work. So that black stuff on the wall, that's where there was once a mattress set on fire. And this someone in this room may or may not have been, we do not know, pulling a bong, left a lighter on the thing, it all went up in flames. Turns out mattresses and bed sheets and shit like that, they're all made out of like really, really flammable material. So right up the wall. Anyway, but that's why I'm hunched over and sort of like gangly. Yeah, so all of my poems, they all have the letter O in them, apart from one. One of them is brand new. One of them is really, really old, didn't make it into one of my books, but it leads into another poem. And the other poem is the one that the old one leads into. Are we all on board with this? We all know where we are. We're all sitting comfortably. Everyone's had like a little scratch if they need one. Sweet. So yeah, this first poem is called The Old Empire. Well, it would be if I hadn't just turned the fucking screen off. Oh yeah, there's loads of swearing. There's so much swearing. Yeah, don't ever ask me to do like a kids gig. Like, it's a terrible idea. It's a bad idea. Thanks. Yeah, so this poem's called The Old Empire and How It Gets Divided. I would see them hide pockmarked arms and skin that hadn't seen kindness in years. Fingertips that worn away back to clandestine days of happiness that had long since been solicited as illicit love affairs and should never be spoken of. The diasporic nature of love is that it leaves the home it had in you. If you're lucky, it will take root in the oak tree ribcage of your lover. It will collapse boundaries, break common sense constructs, destroy dysmorphic disbelief that you are worth less than the piece of shit that you have kept locked away in your chest. Never forget, it's going to leave you, sometimes for good. I would see the disillusion of marriage play across belt-bruised hands, just waiting to be healed enough to hold a pen again. Cracked teeth spat back at kitchen floors or smeared off of cupboards and bedroom doors, picked from windowsills as electric bills fall harder than the bad decisions that had put them there. They would wear a necklace of each other's teeth, figuratively. This is the antithesis of what love is. This is you're always at that damn bar fight. And in the hard times brought on by a hard life, quiet dark nights are a comfort. But these dark skies don't seem to be clearing. And those once perfect wedding rings are the death in dreams that seemingly act like life sentences. When did this all go so wrong? One day we came home, but home was gone. In its place stood vacuous vitriol, cantankerous, trivial and visceral, precancerous and unequivocal truth that he is not the man you married and she is not the woman you fell in love with. So why do you do this? This abusive and intrusive love affair. Don't say you do it for us. We want no part in the self-deprecation that is the two of you together. We want no part in the martyrdom that is staying together for the kids. We want no part in the bastard art that is your lies as they drip piss and liquid shit from the tips of your tongues to each other. You are made up of all the flaws of your parents, every downfall, every envy, every secret they have never told anyone. You are everything they hate about themselves, every aspect they wish they could change, every punch, every cunt, every waking up in hospital beds, every decision, ill or otherwise. From the second you are born, you are every evil, every plight, every act they wish they could take back, every wrongdoing, every time they cried themselves to sleep at night. You are all of this, but you are not them. And I am not them. And there is a good in me. But you have to make a choice. You just have to make the choice. What's it gonna be? Us or them? What do you want to be? Thanks. So that's arguably the nicest one that's going to be read this evening. So that's, that's something to think about. And something to mull over for the next couple of minutes whilst I pretend I'm flicking through a page when realistically, this is a tablet. I don't even need to. I just got them all lined up already. But I always feel that it's really important to sort of like open, to really like sort of like bring the crowd back up. Because if you're going to say something sad and you're going to like be like, oh, my parents are awful, which I should probably clarify every time that I mention my parents in these poems, they're actually more reflections on myself because I hadn't started therapy when I wrote that. If I'd written that poem now, I'd be like, no, this is clearly about my parents. Like, this is obviously, I mean, did you not, there was clearly a marriage reference there. This is obviously about my parents, but I can't guarantee that because I hadn't started therapy yet. So who knows? Who knows? We don't know. We don't know. This next poem's called Old Empires. You'll notice the connection there. Yeah, and it's, I tell you what, it's self-explanatory. Content warning on this one fuck me, I need to get a chair. Content warning on this one in particular. It covers loads and loads of like really dark aspects. Just imagine all the worst stuff that you can think of. It's about that. It covers that. And I always kind of think it's really odd when you mention trigger warnings and content warnings because in order to mention them, I have to then say what it is. So I'm just going to tell you that in general, it's a pretty dark poem. And it is. And if you don't want to listen to a dark poem, then please switch off your TV screens now for the next like 4 minutes or so. But God damn it. This one's called Old Empires. Excuse me. Do you remember when you told me that you loved me? How thick the air got around us. Each stagnant breath felt as it pushed yours away. The night teasing the morning telling you she couldn't come today. Each day left powderless smoke on your cheeks. You kicked yourself for saying it too early. Your lips telling stories that your body can't keep. You held yourself close to me whilst tearing yourself away. Lack of rain failed to drown out the volume of your words. You think your words do you a disservice. Drinking yourself dry, looking for God, how you settled for man. You will always settle for man. Your God has never answered. You think you are hurt. Having never known pain, we are a form of suffering, keeping quiet when the world cries. Paying for silence is the only way you found it. The dirt under your fingernails is more alive than you. Prayer has left you feeling empty, fearful, and alone. You have always felt like this. Your keys only fit in the back door. Your parents only ever used the front. Begging for love is what dogs do. You wish you could be a dog. Choking feels like closure. Loving is your penance. Love is a thing that other people do. How you are alone, you are alone. No one can ever love you the way you want. You are the stained cotton cloth of your mother. Father telling tales on your skin each night. Uncle would watch good girls keep secrets. You have always been a good girl. His eyes in your reflection remind you of that every day. Nights like these seem longer than the rest. You wish you could rush through them. Pretending to be asleep was a defense mechanism. Your defenses never worked. 3 bottles of wine and no tomorrow was your mother's food. Being breastfed bottles of pills was yours. You are so far from home, but not far enough. Your grandmother's cancer runs in your family. You hope it will take you. You're afraid I will find out. You think you can hide it. Having hidden it for so long, it may not be true. You don't remember. You tell yourself you don't remember. When people ask, you really do. Your bed is made in cold sweat. Heartbeats Olympian, telling stories to the children that were stolen from you. Red brick buildings replaced your childhood. It will replace theirs. All your dancing is on your mattress. Like your mother, you never learned a dance partner's name. You call them all father. They look like him. You don't think I do. You have carried this weight for so much longer. You will carry it for so much longer. The first step is to love yourself. You try to, but your fingers feel like soldiers, marching against your paws, battling against your body. They are distant relatives calling in the night. Their voices sound the same as yours did, the same yours won't sound again. Exploration is a challenge. Challenges should be conquerable. The only thing you have conquered is screaming, your own ghost 2 steps removed. You have never told anyone that you loved them and meant it. You think you meant it when you spoke to me. That terrifies you. Running is all your legs are good for, all they have ever done. They have failed you this time. You begged them to do so. You are all out of flight, a thing of birds, of planes, of insects. You have clipped your wings, wanted to burn your own feathers. Instead, asked me to keep them safe, and I will keep them safe. Do you remember when you told me that you loved me? Thanks. I really needed to cough like halfway through that poem so bad, and I was just like, just fucking start it out, Alex, you'll be all right. You'll be all right, just fucking, yeah. I don't actually talk like that at any point. I don't know what this horrible, horrible dickhead guy that I've just put on is. Yeah, so that's fun. This is also going much faster than it did in my rehearsal. So you're going to get one that I wasn't going to read. And happens to be one that I opened earlier. So yeah, I edit Cass's work, or Tom's work. I edit Cass's work. It's weird saying Tom, I don't like it. But, and it's really interesting as a poetry editor, because like, I can see when other things can like do with a little tweak, or maybe we'll put a semicolon in there and like, oh, that's fancy, isn't it? Let's do something fancy with italics here. But when it comes to your own work, it's really difficult, because like you're so close to the actual thing that you're just like, okay, but what if I just put this comma in, and then you agonize over this comma for 2 months, and then it ends up being your entire dissertation is on this one singular fucking comma, and then you decide to hand it in anyway. But the point is, it's really difficult to sort of get that like that momentum behind your own work, because you're so close to it. So I don't really know what's going with that, if I'm totally honest. Look, don't fuck around, Cass. It was just an example, all right? No one can I don't know if the rest of the people here can see the note that just popped up, but basically it says, I'm Cass and I'm a bastard. That's what it says. Thank you for inviting me. This poem's called Taciturn, and I don't actually know what the word taciturn means, but I needed a title for this poem, and this is what came up. It happened. Good thing I'm not a performer. Anyway, yeah. You were not mine, nor have you ever been. You were still the flickering street lamp overhead during walks home, the cascading wind pulling jackets closer to chests, the rustle of heavy shopping bags, and the constant fear of shadows dancing in alleyways that are unfamiliar. You were a slipped hand in a supermarket, the lost boy on the tannoy, The bodies washed up on the shores of various department stores, the overly dressed plainclothes security guards with stern faces, border-controlled dogs with new muzzles. The swathing fabric of passers-by that weave oceans together in apoplectic drowning hand signals. You are a series of automated responses, a digesting of ominous cues that silence those that enter trudging feet across hallways of unity. You're a light drizzling of rain that soaks through to your mechanical layers, a dozen spotlights, a capturing of advertisement and a handheld device that reads "buy." You're a prepaid bus ticket, a spluttering of engines hounded by weights, an aching of ground metal coughing odes onto windows that legitimize their existence by holding condensation onto lifelines of opaque decisions marbled against lips. You are the prophecy of free parking spaces and garages consumed by tar, an oil-stained floor, a rarely entered room adorned in cracks and cobwebs, the cold concrete underfoot, a flat tire edging metal shielding into libidinous tears of disillusionment. You're a list of groceries, a receipt of previously bought goods, a misspelling of aubergine, a crossing out in pen with pencil ham-fistedly written in below. You are a flickering at the curtains, a lost finger in folds that are stained like your lungs, a broken rung on a ladder that needs to be replaced or entirely bought anew. You are a flicking of a kettle switch, a warm brew beckoning too many heapings of sugar, a foot crossed over a knee, a newspaper margin with crude flowers drawn in. You are a crossword full of wrong answers. You're an empty fridge, the decadent ritual skimming takeaway menus, pausing over numbers before haphazardly deciding that braving the outside world is a greater achievement. You're a shut front door, a flickering light bulb, a drive to go out, and a hunger. You're a hunger that falls flat in your hands. Yeah, so it's weird when you can't hear people clap afterwards. Just throwing that out there. Also, just as a quick thing, can we have a shout out for Kat? If everyone can unmute themselves for just a second, can we have a shout out for Cass for like absolutely smashing the hosting this evening and getting us all here? And like, that's really nice. Like everyone has smashed it this evening, and like, yeah, I feel that we need to give Cass more like.
Love you, Cass.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
You're welcome. So I don't know how long I've been on for, so I'm going to do one more, and then if Cass is just like, no, do the other one, then you don't talk like that. I don't know why. I do
the other one.
Okay, well I'm doing open wounds. This next one's called open wounds. I'm doing open wounds, and then maybe the other one. Okay, so open wounds is still like, this is dangerous territory. This poem's not finished at all. This is on the like second edit out of realistically like 18. I mean, the other poems weren't like entirely finished because no poem is ever really entirely finished until you publish it and realize you can't change it afterwards, and you probably should have done and put that goddamn comma in. But yeah, this one's not even at that stage yet, but I'm really excited for it. So yeah, so this poem's about a woman that is not interested in me. Or it could be a man. Let's throw them off the scent. It's called Open Wounds. Or Old Wounds even, not Open Wounds. I can't remember which one it's called. I've got it saved somewhere. Oh, it is called Open Wounds. This bodes well. I open these old wounds so I can still look at you. And even though I'm sick of you, it seems quicker to imagine what might have been than let the reality of whatever this is settle in. Right now, I feel like I am settling. Right now, I feel like the evidence is edited, like it is evident the lettering is pressuring the pen to go back and change what the message said. The message read, something to do with hope, but the ink begged no, and so the pen did slow and holds words like a stutter, scolds words like a mother, eventually gives birth to a third paragraph. My whole world turns like an hourglass. I watch in silence as the hours past hour pass, and though this may not be our last sour dance, I feel like I am already missing steps. Somehow we're just kissing friends that are just kissing friends. What do we do next still feels too intense. What do you intend with your true intent? And I get the truest sense that to you it's best that we just leave it. And I know I should. It would be easier if I could. And though every second feels like an eternity and every drawn breath is an execution with you, I finally feel human. Even when I feel like I am losing. Even when I am lost, I just look at the compass points that you drew across from my lips to your lips, from my kiss to your kiss, from the space between our fingertips to the space where our fingerprints across each other's skin like they are drawing a map only you and I can see. To let go or give up is just too difficult. And though this love is free to fall, it could still be beautiful. It could still be a suitable endeavor that favors fair weather, whether or not these forced feathers feather drop. Like time is all we have, or time is all we've lost. As time is in our hands, and this time it's all we've got. It's time to take a stand, or time to take a loss. I can't keep living in this purgatory. This earthen curse that serves as a person purse, pursed with terse verses, versed as you versus us. Truth versus love, youth versus guts, proof cursing touch imbued by a must to sink into each other's skin. Like it's the only place we've ever fit. Like it's the only place we've ever lived. Like it's the little things that steal the silence to break bread with makers met and accept that real death is just a goodbye. No, I'm not ready to do my time. To see you and admit I withdrew my line. And breathe through like this last gasp will carry the weight of everything that has been holding us back. And really, I know that weight is just your hands. That weight that waits for no man and takes no man as prisoner, defines the divine as literature, leaves your name scratched across my back like insignia to say that you own this. That this piece of flesh, etched with your initials, spell out the word hope, is yours to take home, yours to dispose the sword in the stone, to wield as you wish, to kill as we kiss, to steal, till the night misses the day and each moment stays the same, lays the same head upon my lap, and issues sudden unexplained heart attacks like they were missions from God. But we are missing from God, the one we forged in beds made of sweat, the one we fought when we told each other long secrets that sound like crying. Long secrets that hold heavy on their head, long secrets that make bleeding sound like a pastime and theft the only way to find us. It is in this silence that we divide us, that we subside trust and instead define us as two letters that are in the same alphabet, but are never destined to sit beside, because you're a slow-grown tree, and I am happiness beneath your leaves. But what that means is I am always in shade, and though the cool air soothes the pain, I need sunlight to help me breathe, and God damn it, I need it to help me see. So yeah, that's still in edit, finish, work in progress mode. Should I do that last one?
Absolutely.
Atlas, nah, that doesn't work as fun.
Fuck's sake, Alex.
Yeah, I nearly got it. So yeah, this is my final poem for this evening. I really hope that you've enjoyed the entire show. Actually, I've had a great time. This is the first gig I've done in 8 months, in case you couldn't tell. Pretend I'm stretching and I'm not actually just dying. Oh yeah, so by the way, if you want to, capitalism, let's get ready for some capitalism. If you could follow me or buy my shit from any of these places, that would be really, really good. You can find me on, get ready for this list, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, OnlyFans, Patreon, and TikTok. That's 6 different places that you can find me. Oh, and Whiskey and Beards Publishing, and probably Amazon if you type in Alex Vellis. But you can find me at all those places at Alex Vellis Poet. That's ALEXVELLISPOET. Yeah, and it would be real cool if you could just, I don't know, like that shit. Look, Connor's literally just sent my OnlyFans out in the group chat. That's amazing. By the way, my OnlyFans not actually pictures of my dick. Sorry there, ladies, gents, and anyone that is not conforming to those two things, whatever. But yeah, I don't get my dick out. It's just poems, and actually, realistically, it's just promises saying that I'm going to post a poem, and then I never actually do, and I just take the money because I'm a little bitch, and I love it. I love it so much. I'm just fucking love a bit of money. But this next final poem's called Atlas. Glad that's on the internet forever. Money. Yeah, this poem's called Atlas. It's about the first time you fall in love when you're 17 years old. I can't believe I just said any of that fucking dumb shit. Oh my God. Yeah, let me just remember the first line. It's the only one that I'm doing, not written down. You're my whole world, the boy says to the girl. The girl smiles. Are you making a pass at me? Shyly, the boy does his coat up a little more tightly. He says, I might be. I like you. Do you like me? The girl replies with, you excite me. You may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but if you're a star, you would shine most brightly. The boy smiles. And then he frowns. He says, it's like I'm asleep. And when I wake up, you won't be beside me. The girl laughs. The boy didn't expect this. He just dissected each tone that rolls home as if trying to decipher his own enigma code. But codes are for code makers. And this heartbroken heartbreaker doesn't have the smarts for tonal linguistics. Instead, he leans in to kiss lips, dreams of twisting hips, forming chrysalis of her and him, unburdening this burning thing that he keeps locked up internally. Christ. She looks like eternity. The girl holds a finger to his lips, hushes him quick and tells him, boy, you are poetry. A growing tree unknowingly, or so it seems, that holds the seed to her and him. Beautifully, she verbally unearths the key that locks them together perfectly. She's the first to see that these verses he puts together purposefully reverses the uncertainty. The boy doesn't know how to react. He just interacts with the world around him. This woman is astounding, changed from girl to woman because she keeps him grounded. He asks her arms to surround him. And they kiss. And the world falls away, shifting weight from them to they, making waves in each other's oceans. Totems and love potions form from honest hands, gripping grains of sand that fall through fingertips as he fingers his to hers. There is silence. And in that moment, millennia pass by them. And they know, you know? Ah, Christ. They know. A woman is the first to let go. Talks about going home, but walking slow, making movements like she's made of stone. The boy's happiness hung over bones, plucking stars like he'd grown his own. He puts his hands out, says, I want you to take these. She looks at him curiously and says, there ain't nothing there. He replies with, nah. Just me. Thank you. I've been Alex Vellis, and I will still be Alex Vellis tomorrow, I guess. Probably. I don't know. I might
Woo!
Yeah, thanks so much.
Massive round of applause for Alex, please. Massive round of applause for every performance that's been on tonight. Massive round of applause for Connor. Everyone just clap, please.
Yay! And claps for Cass.
More for Alex, though. That was just his turn, so more for Alex. Well, that has been the Sad Poets Doorstep Club. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back at some point. I don't know. I don't really work on a fixed schedule, but we'll be back at some point and we'll do another one. We'll have another excellent lineup with excellent poets. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, smashed it. That was sick. I'm going to go.
Yeah.